Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome live on the second to last day of July. God, I'm just making sure it is 2022. All the days, all the weeks seem to run into each other over the last couple of years, don't they? But no, it is July 30th, and we are here. I put these numbers up so I don't forget math. Just making sure I don't have the COVID brain fog that keeps me from telling you that this is episode number 860 of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream, featuring me, Dave Lefkowitz, and my darling, adorable, and slightly under the weather wife, Joyce, who may or may not be joining us, a bit later in the show to help out with the sound effects, with the Facebooking, with all the amazing stuff that she generally does for the program. But for now, it's just kind of you and me, although, as ever, we will have our guest. I left my paperwork over there. I will get it momentarily after we play the theme song. But yeah, we're going to have a couple of people in the neighborhood too, as we generally do every week. In fact, we'll be playing the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz. Oh, yes. I know you love to play that at home and play that, I don't want to say against, but alongside our regular panelists, the wonderful David Sheward, the bountiful Leslie Hoban Blake, and the the verifiably queen-like Vicki Quade. All of them tend to play our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz later in the show. Plus, we will have Greeley Crimes at Old Times. Plus, we have a Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Plus, I'm hoping to do a Dave's Big Dictionary segment. And we'll also be talking about some of the stuff that we did this week. I don't have, quote-unquote, a special guest. I'm sorry. You're going to have to deal with me for about 3 hours here, probably a little less today, of a typical Dave's Gone By broadcast / podcast. Those folks who've been listening to the show for years know that when we first started, we were an hour long, and for a long time I didn't have guests, didn't really want them. They were few and far between. It was more about me just extemporizing. But then when I had the opportunity and the show became longer and more involved, we started, okay, let's start having a guest here and there, people I really want to talk to, and people in the theater, and people in music. And then it moved on from there as to be like, well, who's the guest this week? Yeah. When I point people towards the archives, it's this natural push-pull that you have with a show like this. And it's like, well, there's 850-something archives for free available at davesgoneby.com. Well, gosh, which one should I listen to? And immediately you go like, well, we've interviewed all these famous people. I was like, oh, okay, so let me see who. And meanwhile, sometimes the very best parts of the show are not the interviews. They're the goofy segments. They're me rambling. They're a Colorado Limerick or a wretched pun of destiny. Or maybe if you go back a few years, like some of the musical segues we used to do before YouTube and Facebook copyright stuff got in the way. Either way, it's all there for your entertainment at davesgoneby.com. So this is going to be one of those that may just kind of slide into the ether after a few weeks. It'll be a fun show, a good show that we've done, but you kind of know. No guest was on it, nobody special, nobody famous. I think I'll skip that one and move back a few weeks when, you had so-and-so on. Well, I want to check out Becca Kidwell, the cabaret singer. Well, back before that, you had Stuart Ross and Sidney Meyer and Karen Mason and Katie Huffman and all these people. It's like, I'm going to that one, which are shows that are just as good. But don't discount, please. Don't ignore. Don't shunt or shun the shows that have really nothing to recommend. Don't just push to the side like you would a homeless person in New York and look at a show that has just some of our regular segments on it and go, oh, you're not a special show. You're just a show. Man, you're a so-so show. Why should I listen to you? Why didn't they just delete you as soon as the show is over? Why are you clogging up internet space, possibly on the dark web, with this guy saying nothing, nonstop, for 2 or 3 hours. Why? When I can be listening to, an old interview with Carl Reiner, or Dick Cavett, right? Or some other people who are no longer with us, like Carol Channing, like Charlotte Ray, like rock journalist Al Aronowitz, right? Or just all these people over the years. And I see some of you like, Al Aronowitz was on there, Carol Channing, oh my God. Yes, but we've also done shows like this, which are utterly pointless and a waste of your time. I'm telling you now. I'm going to get out of this after 3 hours if you watch every minute of it. And it's well, that was my Saturday morning. What the hell is wrong with my life? What am I doing with my life that I have 3 hours to listen to this? Dave's Gone By. Well, actually, if you think of what life has been over the past couple of years, and what we've all been enduring and going through, from the war here and the disease there and the pox and the 19 and the that and inflation and then you come here, and sometimes I do talk about these things, and sometimes I am opinionated and sometimes political, and so I delve into it and it's not so nonsensical. But other times it's just me being an idiot and making really, really terrible puns. And you come out of that and say, I just spent 3 hours of my Saturday morning and I wasn't thinking about gas prices. And I wasn't thinking about global warming. And I wasn't thinking about how much I hate the fill in the political blank. I was just listening to a guy make jokes and answering trivia questions and hearing intentionally bad poetry and having fun with friends and guests and doing all sorts of kooky stuff, right? Oh, and Greeley Crimes and Old Times, how can we forget that? So, yeah, that's what we're here for. Every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts, doing Dave's Gone By, our 860th episode. Let me get my cheat folder, and while I'm doing that, let me play, I don't always get to do this, but let me play our actual, real, old-fashioned Dave's Gone By intro theme music. Ooh, aren't you in for a lucky day? That's not it. Stop that. Please stop that. Wow, that's annoying. Let's try this. Well, let's try this over here. I should have done more prep on this one, I'll bet you. How about... this should work? I think I'll go with this. This should do it.
Good morning.
Oh, yes.
There goes the Daverhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
Yeah, David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island arts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
I couldn't believe last week when we were doing our Dave's Gone By Today, Yesterday trivia quiz, and we had our regular panelists, David Sheward and Leslie Hoban Blake, and I think it was David Sheward, and one of the answers, it was a question about song titles, and 3 of the song titles were by Napoleon XIV, and the trick one, the wrong answer for that particular question, was a song title by Captain Beefheart. And David Sheward was like, who's Captain Beefheart? And I was just like, gobsmacked, because David knows everything about everything. He's this trivia, but his musical knowledge tends to be more, probably more regular pop-oriented, as well as, of course, musical theater. That's where he truly excels. But this idea of, who's Captain Beefheart? Ooh. You know, and for me, You know, and then it reminds me sometimes that I kind of like outsider things and outsider artists. And I listen to a song like Tropical Hot Dog Night, which has been our theme since the very first episode almost 20 years ago. And I'm like, everybody would love that song if only everybody heard it on the radio, right? If only that in whatever it was, 1976, 1977, had been on the radio as much as Captain and Tennille. You know, 2/3 of that audience would have been grooving to Tropical Hot Dog Night just as much as Love Will Keep Us Together. I could be mixing up my years here, but it just, you know, I've always, it's one of the things I do miss most about not being able to play music on the later iteration of Dave's Gone By, of not being able to say, okay, I know you love this song, right? And I know nobody loves this song, but it fits the theme of the segue that we're about to play. And then check this out. If you've never heard this, if you don't know this artist, if you don't know this band, dig this song, and now you will become a fan. That's what every real musical DJ does when they get into the field. This is what they really want to do before they get into the real business and move around 8 times in their career and get to a radio station where they're fairly comfortable, and then it changes formats. one day you're playing A&R or what do they got, middle of the road pop, and then it turns country for 3 years, so you're out, and then you go across the state, and then by the time you come back, it's a rap station. That's American radio, tragically. But I do miss that. I hope to maybe get back to some of that, if not on this program, then in other opportunities elsewhere. But let me tell you, I know I'm wandering. I'm going all over the place, and it's a little difficult because I don't have Joyce at the moment to corral me and say, you know, Dave, you kind of want to talk about this, or oh, she is listening. She is.
I'm listening to the show. I like it.
Oh, she likes it so far.
Very good. It's very entertaining. I give it a thumbs up.
Joyce is giving it a thumbs up. She's far away. She's literally just, you know, kind of in bed, decompressing after a very, very, not a challenging week, a quite wonderful week. I can't really talk about. Well, yeah, you know, we were in a car a lot, and so she got a bit motion sick, and that tends to give her vertigo and tends to make her life rather. It makes her life even unhappier than I do, which is pretty staggering. Joyce is complimenting me and stuff. Well, by the end of the show, she won't mean it. I'll say something terrible and stupid, and then she'll be mad at me for the rest of the day. But for now, she really, really, you know, she's being very sweet. Oh, she's dreaming. She says she's dreaming. She's not actually listening to this real show, the show that's in her head of Dave's Gone By. She's enjoying this. If she were actually paying attention to this, she'd be like, oh, geez, Dave, what the hell are you doing? Why are we still married after all these years? Because we all love each other, dear. Because we do. But we did. We have, before we get to all the segments that we have to do on the show today, or want to do on the show today, we had a very active and big and pretty fun week, which involved going away again for a couple of days. And we went to the land of Mary. That's why we're calling this, even though you can't really see the gold letter here. What's that, babe?
What's the name of the show?
The name of the show is Mary Land. Get it?
I don't get it.
It's Mary, M-E-R. It's hard to see, but
I'm just going to have my robe. Is that okay?
yeah, of course. Joyce is kind of naked at the moment, which is a nice thing. Oh, now she put her robe on. Still nice, but you know, not the same. Anywho, so we're calling it Maryland because Joyce and I took a just basically a 2-night overnight trip to the lovely land of Mary to just kind of to get away from New York during the summer, which is not necessarily the smartest thing to do because if it's 86 on Long Island and in Manhattan, it's going to be 88, 89 in Maryland. It's actually just going to be a little warmer and more humid over there. But we figured, well, we don't want to go far and we don't want to go to Canada or something. Let's just go to Maryland. We can get there. We can shop, and we didn't want to deal. We're lazy. And I don't drive. I drive locally. I don't like driving long distances. If we take Amtrak, right, if you're smart, if you're wise, if you plan, and if you happen to be able to select a particular day, 3 years in advance, you can get an Amtrak ticket for 30, 40, 50 bucks.
Amtrak is like Uber. It's time sensitive. It's not a flat fee.
Right.
Even if you're in the Amtrak station, I may have on the plane. I may have a ticket that's $34 because I bought it 2 weeks ago and somebody else bought it that day. It's $250.
Exactly. Yeah, it is time sensitive, price sensitive. I would get a flat fee. Looking at you naked before, you would not, certainly not a flat fee, which is a nice thing. But it's true. Had we purchased tickets 3 weeks ago, we could have probably gotten an Amtrak ticket for 30, 40 bucks.
And used my Amtrak.
And used your points and stuff.
The points, yeah.
But we weren't sure, and we waited, and it was in the middle of the week, and we had other stuff to deal with. So by the time we looked, the Amtrak tickets were well over $100 each. And we figured, do we want to deal with that and then get down to, first to the Amtrak station and then get up, because we weren't staying in Baltimore, the city. We wanted to stay a bit north in some other areas. And it was like, between that and the Long Island Railroad and the schlep, let's just get a friggin' car and we'll do it and then have somebody drive us. And it's friggin' idiotically expensive, but at the same time, it's not so much more expensive. And certainly less time consuming than just like.
I wonder how they calculate how much it costs,
I don't know. How does an airline do it? And airline things are apparently out of. We haven't been on an airplane in 3 years, but it's like, what does an airline do to calculate? To go whether, New York to Florida, a couple of years ago at least, was, we can make it like $99. And they're literally going from the north of the country all the way to the southern tip for $99. And yet if you wanted to go to sort of the middle of the country, it's $350. Like, I think it has to do with demand, like you can have more volume.
Oh, yeah.
And you have 10 flights a day instead of 2. I don't get it. I don't know. Amtrak does that too. You would figure if Amtrak worked like anything else, if Amtrak worked like Broadway, look, I'm already sneaking in Broadway here. What happens? You have a Broadway show. It's selling tickets on Ticketron and Telecharge and what have you. It's charging the insane amount that Broadway prices cost now, and then Telecharge throws on $20-something in fees. And fine, you buy them, you have them in advance, great. When a ticket goes unsold, if there isn't a 100% advance sale on something, what do? They downmarket it. They bring it to TKTS. They put tickets available on TDF. Sometimes if a show isn't selling well at all, they'll make certain quantities of tickets available to senior centers and to local places for free. They don't want the actors sitting there staring at empty seats. So they take tickets that are technically worth $170 and say, come on, just bring the old people in. We want the actors playing to laughter and to applause, right? So, but that's how it ought to work. And they have rush tickets. That's a big thing. On Broadway, off Broadway. I think the Public Theater does it where, if the ticket happens to remain unsold an hour before curtain time, and you line up and you go there and they're available, it's $20, it's $30 instead of ... But for some idiotic reason, Amtrak decides to go the other way. Amtrak says, well, we have an open seat, right? And if you had bought the seat a month ago, you could have had it for $40. But now if you're just deciding to go at the last minute, we would rather force you, if you have to pay, $300 for this seat, or let the seat go and not get anything. This is the Amtrak Amcrash mentality. So sometimes it certainly pays to take Amtrak, and other times you're like, you know what, with 2 people, or certainly if we had 3, it wouldn't make sense at all. It would be absolutely ridiculous for 3 people to take.
Well, I don't know if there's a family thing. There used to be. I mean, I'm going back when I was in Philly when I taught at Temple.
Yeah.
Because there used to be all sorts of. They used to have student stuff. I don't know. I think maybe because but the trains work on gas or coal or electric. I don't even know.
Wow, coal. You think they're not locomotives, are they?
No.
I mean, Casey Jones's like great grandson is in there and like behind the Amtrak smoking club car. Going,
I believe so. I think that's how it goes.
That's where all the Mexican immigrants go that Donald Trump was so afraid of. They're the ones stoking the Amtrak locomotive. Like, gotta get to the Newark hub.
I just had a vision of the Titanic and the.
Yeah, right.
You know how there was.
But so we decided we splurged, except it made sense on some level to splurge, to go back and forth by a simple conveyance of a car and the service that we use. And I would name them, except I don't want everybody using them and then they get swellhead and raise their prices. Because they're slightly more expensive than Uber, but much cheaper than any other town car around. And they've been great. And we've been very happy to use them. If you message me, if you I'll tell you individually.
How did you find them?
Yelp, where I put in a call to go and say, hey, we want to go here, and we have suitcases. So who can take us? And we're getting quotes of $700, $1,000 from one town car service. Like, no. And then they came in significantly under. And I was like, cheap Jewish person that I am. I went, yes. And we've been taking them, and they've been great. So, and so we took the car from New York to Maryland, and we've enjoyed rest stops. What do you remember? Do you know what? Remember when you were a kid? Those people are my age. I'm 58 years old, or a little older, and so forth. A rest stop. It was a gas station. You had a vending machine, and you could kind of walk in and maybe have like a greasy spoon truck driver sandwich, and a bag of chips. I gotta say, rest stops. I'd be happy
They're very fancy.
living next to a rest stop.
What's the burger? Smash burger?
Oh, it was Crush or something, not Crush Burger, but there was in one rest stop. There's one in New Jersey called Molly Pitcher's. There was another named after Joyce Kilmer, the tree guy, the guy who wrote the poem. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as it. Well, I think I should never top a place like the Joyce Kilmer rest stop.
Oh God! I think they're all New Jersey residents.
They've got burgers and they've got Starbucks, and all the other places are stupid. But anyway, so you go in and they're clean, and of course it's a stop. It's to go use pee doo doo, but you go and here's a Starbucks and here's a pretzel Auntie Annie's, and then there's this place where you can get tchotchkes and this place where you can get road maps, and it's like this marvelous space where you can't sleep. It's not a place where you can really.
I think some truckers can.
Well, maybe they sit in their trucks. They get their stuff. They go out in their trucks and rest there. But what a lovely thing! I remember when years and years ago, Howard Stern wanted a rest stop named after him. He got along really well with then governor of New Jersey. Who was before Chris Christie? It was the woman.
Oh, I don't know. I see her name, Elizabeth.
No, I think her name was Christie. Something Christine. No, it wasn't Christine. Our beloved Christine Lavin. No, it was. Anyway, she was the governor of New Jersey, and he was like campaigning. All these celebrities, they have things named after them, and they donate things to parks. And he said, people, they have to travel, and Howard Stern was all about keeping people happy from the moment they left their house to when they had to commute, or if they're on the road and they're listening to him, and he's syndicated all over the country, and he keeps them laughing and entertaining. He said, you know what people really need? What's really great on the road? You have to stop. You have children in the car, and what a blessing it is to turn off into the exit, be able to go, to stop, have a clean place to do your business, and get a snack or some food. He said, I want to be named after, and I think for a while they renamed And it wasn't even like a whole cool rest stop back then. This was 30 years ago. He just wanted a toilet named after him. Which I'd be very proud. Just a little place, just a little, a male, female separated toilet, the Howard Stern toilet area on a New Jersey highway. And I think she complied. I think they put a plaque up and they named it after him. Which is wonderful and which I understand now. I think that's kind of neat. I do, again, I guess as me being who I am and the way I was raised, I'm obsessed with prices. And I would love to know, honestly, I would love to know how you can go into a rest stop area. This could also be a shopping mall. It could be anywhere. And you go in, and there's a place where you can get like a Nathan's hot dog for $4, right? A place where you can get a cheeseburger, a pretty decent cheeseburger, for $6, right? Fair enough, right? And then right next to it is an Auntie Annie's pretzels, which are yummy, and is a cup of just little pretzel bites, and it's $6. How do you charge $6 for something that doesn't have meat in it? It's basically dough with salt and extra, mind you, if you want a topping. If you want a topping that isn't a little packet of regular mustard, which is perfect for me. If you want honey mustard, if you want sweetened cookie dough flavor, if you want a hot, spicy kind of sriracha mustard, if you want squid ink, okay, so I would understand charging for squid ink, but if you want something to dip the pretzel in, right? Suddenly you're talking about like a $7 pretzel, a soft pretzel. Some people not that many years ago made $7 an hour. How the hell do you charge that when next door, or next to that same shop, literally, and not next door, I mean, they're all in the same building, in the same area. It's like a strip mall. You can get a whole hamburger and a real lunch for the same amount of money. It boggles, it upsets me. It puts me in a dark frame of mind, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes I'm in the mood for a hamburger, and sometimes I just want a pretzel. And Joyce is a vegetarian. She'll not touch a hamburger, but a pretzel, oh yeah, that's good. And so, I do not understand the workings of America, my friends. Even at my late and dysfunctional age, I just don't get it. Anywho, so we go on the road to the land of Mary, to Maryland. And I gotta say that there's Waze is interesting, because one of our drivers had the Waze thing, not just a GPS, not just a thing where you look and you can tell where you're going. Because, my God, how did my dad do it? How did couples go on vacation 50 years ago?
Went to AAA, you got a map, and they outlined the map.
You got a map, you got an atlas.
No detour.
Yeah, you had an atlas. And the guy would tell you, you go, yeah, this interstate, and this, here, look at it, look on the map, yeah, watch my finger. Here's my finger on the map.
You a map with lines.
Yeah, but still, I can read a map now better than I ever could when I was, to me it was hieroglyphics, honestly. And now I can sort of look at a map and go, oh, here, and stuff. But what did they do? This was the old thing of a couple in the car, heading out on a 300-mile road trip. And then the wife screaming at the husband with a map and saying, you have to go here. But I can't go here. It's a detour. It's like, but it says go here. It's like, no, that's a left. That's a right. And that was the only way. And suddenly you were lost. And 10 miles out of your way, had to find the gas station, pull in, ask somebody really kindly, find somebody on the road when you came to a stoplight, and then roll down the window. But, good luck if anybody had air conditioners then. Maybe your window was down. And say, hey, by the way, we're going to, and get that information in a time frame that you didn't have people honking at you behind you because the light had changed. And he's like, no, you got to turn around, go back, but you can't turn around here. You got to go down 2.5 miles, look for the shrub. And I was like, good God. What? Yeah, I talked about this last week, about the times that we live in and how miserable they are, but at the same time, how much better they are than any other time in history. And how you can get in a car. First, you used to have to buy a Garmin GPS or something, or a Moto, and then you could put it on your friggin' telephone, right? And have the telephone talk to you. What a thing! Well, not even just like glance down, take your eyes off the road. Hey, where am I? Oh, okay. Like, right? Now it's just like, you, in the next 500 feet, turn left. It's like, okay, I will, right? Even if it isn't sometimes the most direct, or they're trying to avoid something and they take you a little out of your way, it will get you there and tell you without your having to look down how to get where you're going. That's astonishing. That's extraordinary. Now they have these things on the car where I think it's just they tell you a little too much. When we're driving along, it's one thing to say, in 600 feet, use the two available left lanes to turn left. Either one of them, fine, great, brilliant, fine, wonderful. It's quite another when the woman voice starts to warn you that there's a car on the shoulder, and you don't know where the hell it is. It doesn't tell you like right there or 100 feet. It just says ding ding ding, car on the shoulder. Now you're freaking out, like where, and you don't see anything because whatever was happening, that car probably righted itself or went off the road and wasn't an issue at all. And so it's one thing to say, for them to build in features that might say, oh my God, child running after a ball.
When it says car on the shoulder is also police warning.
And yeah, they tell, oh, police around. Well, yeah, I'm driving on a highway. There's going to be cops around. At some point, it becomes a little bit of a nanny state. It's like, one thing will warn you, oh, you forgot to plug in your seatbelt. Oh, be really careful. There's an accident. Like the old CB truckers used to. There's an accident a quarter mile. You may want to get into this lane or try to avoid that, or avoid the traffic here. Fantastic. It's quite another saying, you're going to be coming up to a traffic camera and you still have breakfast in your beard. You might want to wipe that. It's like, shut up, Waze. Don't. Don't. There's probably somebody watching on a camera in Russia when you're driving along Sunrise Highway or I-95 or 27. It's like, when you get to that stoplight, we see you picking your nose. It's on the satellite, okay? Everybody, fine, pick your nose. But when you start to eat the damn thing, we're sitting here, it's Russia. We're a very different time zone. We're having breakfast. Just stop. Just carry a tissue. Something. Right? Just a little too much big brothering, perhaps, going on, even with the controls that are keeping us safer and telling us in a great way where to go. So that was kind of interesting. And
also said, welcome to New Jersey, right? Never said.
What? Yes! Yeah, what the hell? There's a sign. We see a sign on the thing. It's like, you are now in Delaware. Great. Fine. You are now in New Jersey. At one point, when we crossed from either Delaware or Pennsylvania into New Jersey, the Waze machine said, welcome to New Jersey. I'm like, what the? Okay. And not even like, you're in New Jersey now. Or, please note, the New Jersey speed limit is, some useful information. Is more like, hi, we know where you're going. We know what you're driving into. And we just want to say, welcome to New Jersey. And by the way, here are the reciprocity laws. And here's what you can and can't do. And the age when you can have sex with a girl is 18 and not 14. Whatever. I mean, it's like, I just want to drive. I just want to take the car and go. But I will say this extraordinary thing. I mean, we were driving, right? I mean, I wasn't driving. We were being driven, more correctly. And we're going along. And sometimes we would hit pockets of traffic unexpectedly. And then sometimes things would speed up. And no matter what, that machine had it down to the minute of when we would arrive. No matter whether we slowed or it calculates in this astonishing way that, unexpected traffic, you're supposed to arrive at 6:02. And then you're in it, and you figure, well, how does it still know that it's 6:02 because we were going 50 miles an hour, and now we're going less than 20. And then it was 6:00, and then suddenly it's like 6:04, and then you speed. It really is an amazing thing. So again, some yay stuff.
You play your music?
When, where?
Your opening music.
Yeah, I played just a snatch of the opening theme of this show, which is called Dave's Gone By. It's our 860th episode. We're calling it Mary. Please note that I have not said one thing about Maryland. And the whole point was to talk about Maryland, and then it's like getting out of New Jersey into Maryland, getting out of New York, and where somebody explain to me the disconnect, please, of everybody said, well, everybody left somehow New York during the pandemic. First year of the pandemic, everybody bought houses somewhere else other than New York City. Everybody moved to other states. Everybody vacated. And yet somehow, with all these people gone, traffic is worse than ever.
They came back.
Because all the people who never bought a car moved away. And all the people who kept a car bought a second car and drive it at one hand out the window, driving the other car. How is it that traffic is actually worse in New York when everybody somehow left New York? This is starting. The minute you hit Staten Island to come out of, to come out of, I guess, Jersey, over the Goethals Bridge, into Staten Island, it's like, traffic. It doesn't matter if it's rush hour. It doesn't matter what time of day. You're back in New York, and it's Staten Island, and you're sitting there in a parking lot. And how is it? Who are these people? How does this continue? And yet it does. And yet it shall always. It's like the poor shall always be with us. That's something like, I think, from the New Testament or something. It's like the traffic. Yea and verily, the traffic, it shall always be with us. And there you have it. But Maryland, what do I have to say about being in kind of northern Baltimore County? So again, we went not for a nice couple of days in Inner Harbor, which we have been to, and which I'm just going to say, you might hear while I'm speaking some subliminal messaging. This is completely accidental. I don't do this at all, Rusty Scupper, intentionally. I don't throw in things to kind of get them in the back of your mind without your knowing it. The way they used to put Coca-Cola in Saudi Arabia prints and get people want to rush out in the middle of the movie and go to, the counter and buy Coke and buy drinks. So I'm not going to, when I'm talking about Inner Harbor, when I'm talking about Rusty Scupper, the things that you can do there, I'm certainly not going to fold in some very important, iconic, cultural Rusty Scupper touchstone that might be there. That is important to me. I would never do that. But yeah, I've been there to Inner Harbor, done that, eaten at a restaurant there that's on the water that apparently people just, they make fun of it, which makes me sad. It's called, I don't think I've mentioned it to this point, but it's called the Rusty Scupper. And the only reason I love it is because it's named the Rusty Scupper. Scupper, I think, is something that takes the food and the yuck from the ocean floor and dredges it up. And what gives you an appetite more than a restaurant with Rusty in its name? Because who doesn't love the delicious idea of things rusting and corroding? Because that just makes me want to nosh. And a scupper. And a scupper nong, I don't even know what the hell that is. But a rusty one. It's kind of like eating at, the desiccated lung. Well, we eat them for breathing, and lungs are a good thing. But, oh, yeah. Let's just get a steak at the desiccated lung. It's just down the road. So, I've eaten once or twice at the Rusty Scupper, and the view is great. And I thought the food was fine. Everybody's disparaging. The thing is, when you have a restaurant with a beautiful view, everybody always says, no matter what, well, you're there for the view, it's overpriced, and the food is meh. Whether that's true or not, it becomes the meme of any restaurant with great windows that's looking out. Whether you could be in San Francisco. I remember we went to a restaurant, and you went out to the wharf outside, and you looked at seals in the harbor. You couldn't find crofts, but you saw these seals out there just sunning themselves and flapping. And it was a wonderful thing, and you're eating. And of course, well, that restaurant is not really known for the food, but the view. And the food was fine. Yeah. Ticks me off, it does. Ooh, it ticks me off. And it ticks me off when they say that about the Rusty Scupper, where I admit I have not eaten in many years. But I will go back. I shall sup at the Scup when this time is up. So, didn't go there. Didn't even go to Inner Harbor. We went to a more northerly part of Baltimore County, because people think Baltimore, well, it's the city of Baltimore, which has all its problems and is what it is. But if you go like half an hour north, it's still the county of Baltimore. And it can get really, really nice. It's amazing how many trees there are in Delaware, particularly Delaware, and Baltimore, well, Maryland itself. Is, you figure Jersey is the Garden State, and you forget, you feel when you live in a city, or I worked in Manhattan, I go there to commute to see theater. I live at the moment on Long Island, so there's trees, but it's suburbia. It's houses, really. It's stores local. It's getting on the train. And then Manhattan. Or if you live in Chicago or Los Angeles, it's like building cement. The occasional bird, choking on something. And you forget, even with our overpopulation, even with the millions of people, that there's space still, thank God, in America. And trees and clearings and acres where it's just still grass and trees and lush and woods and thank goodness for that, And you don't have to go out so far out of the way. I mean, literally, it's just off the highway. How nice that is. How great that is. So, yeah. We stayed in a budget-ish hotel, which is perfectly... I'm trying to find fun things to talk about the trip. There's not... It was fairly uneventful. I was really, really hoping, when I decided to do a show this week, that we'd go away and I'd come back with all these interesting, amusing stories for you. Remember I told you that this episode was nothing.
You didn't tell them about your new friend you met, who's green.
Well, I don't have the photo. I was looking for it to post. I don't think it went up to the Google Drive yet. But we when we talked about the rest stop.
Do you want it?
Too much sleep. If you feel better later, you'll send it. But
But you made a friend.
We did. This is the other great thing about a rest stop.
And you almost made a second one with a crowd.
Yeah, almost. At one of the rest stops we went to on our way to Maryland, I love this idea. I love when people are a little goofy and fun, and they realize that people at rest stops are very often going to have young kids with them who have been just cranky and tired and miserable because the parents have been driving more than 10 minutes at a time. They say, are we there yet? Okay, finally, get out of the car.
David, that was so cute. Do that again.
Okay. So they get out of the car, they bring the kids, and the first thing that you see, besides the giant rest stop building itself, is basically a place for refuse. Because they've been driving, they probably have, slushy cups that they have to dispose of, old wrappers and containers and water bottles and stuff.
That's what Tupac and Biggie are.
And you go, and this particular rest stop, I think it was Molly Pitcher's, is they had 2 big garbage cans by the front of the rest stop entrance. But they weren't just garbage cans. They were adorable in the shape of frogs. Giant plastic green frogs with big bulgy eyes. And of course the mouth open. So it would invite you.
Picture.
You know, send me and then I can maybe share the photo on.
Just give me my phone.
Yeah. Well, you have your phone or no?
I have it in my hand.
Maybe email it. I'll open the email, and then I'll be able to share the photo. These they had them side by side, like the Lyons at the New York Public Library. These big adorable frogs, and I'm like, why can't other places have more of that whimsy? Why don't more buildings and more places realize that everybody needs a smile, everybody needs a laugh, children are everywhere, and they certainly want the grown-up world to be more inviting and friendly. Oh, you want me to just hold the phone? I can do that. Here. Hold on one moment, folks. And I'm not a child, well, in certain ways. But I was happy to see this. You have it? Or... Yeah. I don't think they can see it. They can't see it. Oh, look at this. Look at this. If you were on the road for hours and hours, and then you came to a stop, wouldn't you want to see this? Look at that. Look at that. So unbearably cute and practical. That's what the world should be. The world should be cute and practical. As you can see, I'm kind of trying to mimic. That's not maybe the best photo of me, but I'm mimicking the frog. It sort of looks like I'm trying to make his hand motions. I messed that up because I put my thumbs out instead of along with my other fingers. Let me tap that again. So it sort of looks like I'm holding up my tits, which is not really, as opposed to the frog, which is, I don't know, holding up his cloaca. I'm not sure what the frog is doing, but isn't that forget me. Just look at that adorable rest stop frog. And I'm thinking, if we ever get like a house or something, we should have, like, people put pink flamingos in front of their houses and cute thing. Let's maybe do a frog garbage can so that people can come from miles around to throw away like their dog waste in front of our house in our adorable receptacle. Look at it. Just look at that. Oh, it made me so happy. That's why I forgot to mention that part of the rest stop. Thank you. So, thank you. But I don't have like amazing stories to tell about Maryland or nothing particularly like you would go, oh, that's a funny anecdote. It's like decent hotel, wallpaper could have used work. It was I will say it was a fairly nice room, fairly nice hotel for the area. How they designed this, I do not know. We get in there, and the Keurig, which is one of the most important things that you have to have in a hotel room, it wasn't a Keurig, it was just a regular coffee maker, but they had it unplugged. So I'm like, okay, not sure why I'm the one who has to plug this in, but fine. And then I reach, and I look, and I notice that the cord, there's no actual way to plug in the coffee maker. Like, who's the genius who designed this hotel? So it's kind of like, and I will say this hotel was part of another chain that was brought up by another chain. So I think they're in the process of kind of flipping from one to the other, and they're still getting the kinks out. So I'm looking at them like, okay, we want to make tea, we want to make some coffee. How do I do this? So I end up having to bring the coffee maker over to the other side of the room, lay it on the fridge, and then there was a plug right there. But certain little things that you figure, aha, the difference between, say, a 2.5-star and a 3.5-star hotel is that you don't have to move the coffee maker and can find the actual place to plug it in. Difference between the 2.5-star and the 3.5-star hotel is that by the fridge, and I was thrilled that they had a fridge, there was a stain on the floor. A big red circular stain on the carpet. And I'm like, is it common for hotels to have giant blood stains on the carpet? And that's ink or what the hell could that have been, hon?
I think it was through the fridge. It must have been like Kool-Aid or some drink.
Kool-Aid doesn't stain like that. This wasn't like a white carpet. It was like a gray beige carpet. It had to be like somebody may have been dyeing an Indian rug there.
I
And
know tie-dyeing, yeah.
yeah, and doing henna. Well, no, henna would come out. I don't know what the hell it was, but there's a giant circular red stain on the carpet.
And it was in a perfect circle.
Yeah.
That was weird.
So, when the previous tenant of the room was stabbing the girl,
Oh my God.
I guess the blood spattered. I don't know. I looked at it. I was like, okay, we are not in. We're not in Trump camp. We're not in the Ritz. Perfectly fine place. Perfectly. Otherwise, it was fine. Decent bed, mat pillow, nice TV. Fine. 2 days. Who cares? Nice bathroom too. It's good. But I don't have a story. Okay, I think I have a story about a big giant blood stain on the carpet. That is a story. That is something I can take back to you and say,
You
hey.
went to get the manager's special wine and cheese night.
Well, this is just how topsy-turvy my life and my brain has been. Joyce is ascribing it to COVID fog. I do not think so. I think it's just there's been a lot going on in our lives, and some of them have been going away and taking a day off here and there. So, I see in the lobby, and again, this goes back to my cheap Jewishness. I see in the lobby that there's a board, a sandwich board, that's informing people, hey, 5 to 6 p.m., free drinks, beverages, socializing hour with the managers of the hotel. And I'm like, ooh, hello, because I don't want to spend $4 for a thing or go to the vending machine. I'm like, we just bought food. We bought food to take in. Let's get some free beverages with it. I might treat myself to a beer, like a free beer, or at least a Coke with some lime in it, and get Joyce something like that. So I'm like, yeah, we eat, and then I want to get back dressed up. I'm like, I'm going down. I'm gonna socialize a little bit, and I was dreading it a little bit because the rather interesting makeup of people at the hotel. So you in the downstairs in the lobby, the check-in people, the desk people, and you want to talk about diversity. This is diverse. So you had and I'm actually using this word, a little person, a dwarf. He was very nice and really, really helpful.
You met him?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. One of the guys was an actual dwarf, and he was great. Huh?
I do remember.
Yeah. So that was one guy, and then there was a tall guy who looked like Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's right, he did.
Except he was obviously like on the what do they call it? It's on the spectrum of autism.
Yeah, you think so?
Very knowledgeable, very nice, but also very like, hello, I'm telling you. I'm like,
I didn't think that.
this is not. And I knew if I went down for my free drink, the trade-off is that I would end up hobnobbing with this person. That 2 minutes of enough when I was first checking in was quite enough. So nothing against people with autism, It's just sometimes we just, we're on vacation. We just want to be with normals, even though I'm not normal.
No.
So you take whatever spectrum I'm on, except I'm sure I'm on. I've just never checked. And you get someone who's like up here, Sheldon in Big Bang Theory, and it's like, okay, I'm here. Yes, I would love the free beer, and let me talk for 10 minutes about your life at the hotel, and then just when I finish, wait till I finish my last sip of free beer, and then shoot me. Okay, if you could just do that. If you could wait to shoot me after I have my last free sip that saved me $5 and cost me 10 minutes of my peace of mind in life. So and I also had a couple of African American women. So you had this panoply of people. Yeah.
Sorry, so I just apologize. Christine.
Oh,
Chrissy,
yeah.
Chris,
Mhm.
said Todd Whitman.
Christy Todd Whitman. It was a Christy. Thank you. She was the governor of New Jersey.
No, but that person's name, the person writing is Christy. I can't say.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And
That's
then she said,
yeah.
Kid supply cup filled with fruit punch landed on its side for several hours. That's what the spill was.
Were you in the hotel?
Sippy cup.
Chris actually was in that room on the 7th floor of this hotel.
That's exactly true.
It makes sense. It was like a sippy cup overturned, and then the dye from the. What are we feeding our children?
I think Red red dye number 7.
That's right. It's not even cancer. It just destroys carpets and your body.
But if that stained that carpet, what does it do to the innards?
That's what I'm saying. Think about that.
It was the color of your shirt.
Yeah, it literally was. It was a wide circle.
But also they had tried to get rid of the cup, the stain.
Yeah.
Because it was like faded, so.
Oh yeah, they did their best because they know they're going to have to change the carpet out at some point, but not when a pair of people like us. Oh, we'll just give them that room. They want a quiet room away from
I
the
wonder if they're gonna
elevator. Yeah.
If they're gonna do the whole thing over.
They kind of ought to. They kind of remember when we were in a hotel a couple of weeks ago, and like the hallway carpets were so faded that one side of the carpet was one color, and the other strip of it, like half, if you had the hallway, you know, half of it was still okay and half was faded.
They do that in Germany. They put weird, funky carpets, like 3D carpets, on the floor so people don't run.
No, this was wear and tear.
Oh, wear and tear.
This was just like, oh, they need new carpet in this hotel. We don't stay in the best places, so
They weren't bad places. I think they were.
No, they were perfectly like 2.5, 3-star hotels that probably are marked 3.5 because you know they graduate these things. But yeah, well, thank you. Yes, it was Christy Todd Whitman was the governor of New Jersey at that point.
And also the sippy cup thing. That makes sense because if you drop the sippy cup, the spout in the middle, it leaks in a diameter.
I'm gonna go in ever widening. Remember when I dropped my sippy cup of grape juice, like 2 years ago? I was carrying my sippy cup.
It was your sippy cup of Ensure.
We were at United Nations in a room with, of course, this incredible carpet. I was in a pinafore, and I had my sippy cup of grape juice, and it just went. I forgot about it. We were taking pictures. Yeah.
David, the UN screening for meetings, they would not let you in with the sippy cup.
You think?
No sippy cup.
No. I would have to go back to my baba.
Yes.
I wonder what people would say if I went around town with, like, Snapple, but in a baby bottle and sipping it through a nipple. What would people think of that?
I think they would get you the $1 hot dog at the fair.
Oh, anyway. Oh, my God, it's 10 o'clock. Oh, my, I've actually killed an hour. This is amazing. I told you I would. I told you I would talk about nothing. I told you this would be a useless waste of your time. It was, and I hope you've enjoyed it. We have 2 more hours of this. It's Dave's gone by, except we have other stuff to actually do. We have guests coming in, our weekly, regular, wonderful guests, to play the Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz.
Instead of saying Dave's gone by, it said Adams. A-D-A-M.
What? Where?
On the Facebook.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, let's see.
Huh. Okay, I gotta check that out.
She said her kids did that in the 80s, her with the sippy cup spill.
Well, yeah. I love sippy cups.
Ask her what is
And by the way,
what is so red, though? What makes that
what makes it,
red?
well, probably, as she said, maybe Kool-Aid, Hawaiian Punch, could have been, but I still don't see, if you spill, God forbid, Hawaiian Punch on a carpet, it's not going to, unless it sits there.
Maybe it's red wine.
Oh, yeah. Red wine. Yeah. I don't know the damn lyrics. Okay. So, what was I going to say? Well, you're watching Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, July 30th, 2022, our 860th episode. We barely talked about Maryland.
You said our 860th era.
Right? Am I right? Is that what this show is? Remember that you can go to davesgoneby.com for our older episodes.
You look good today, honey.
Well, thank you, dear. And
I like the red.
we also put our archives at archive.org. That's another website. It's a nonprofit site where they're just trying to gather all the TV shows and radio shows and books and public domain things of the arts and culture from centuries, not even decades, but centuries. And we have our channel there, Dave's Gone By. And literally every episode and every interview that we've ever done, that we've saved, is up at archive.org and also at davesgoneby.com. If you're just interested in the audio, there's a podcast site.
Is your show called Maryland?
Maryland. You can't see the N.
Well, you're a Mary Lad.
Well, I am a merry lad. Castbox.fm. This is if you specifically want to listen just to the audio of the show. And when, for the first 14 years, we were a radio show. We were audio only anyway. It's only since, I think, 2018 that we've started doing this. But if you want just the audio and you want to be on the go and have a podcast, Castbox FM is a way to do that. Plus, if you happen to live in Nassau County on the island of Long, then all you have to do, well, no, it's not really all you have to do, but if you want to watch an hour excerpt of A Dave's Gone By, 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning, Eastern Time, just tune into Channel 20 on Altice Cable, if you happen to still get cable. So it's Channel 20, 9:30 in the evening. You just happen to be flipping. It will be a random hour.
That's a good time.
Yeah, it's great. It's prime time. We're going to lose it. I don't know if I want to renew it. I don't know if I want to go through the whatever of renewing the thing and having it just still, I haven't gotten, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't pick up like this whole groundswell of viewers and listeners from putting the parts of the show on public access.
Well, millennials and people don't use cable. Most people, they use Netflix.
Maybe that's the excuse. I mean, still, they tune into the Oscars, right? They tune into sports. I don't know. They're on their cable boxes. Thousands of people will see this face, and then they'll say, "Oh, maybe I should check this guy out." And then maybe they do. Maybe some of them do. I know we get a lot of viewers from Archive. But however you've come across this show, the main thing is to tell other folks about the show. Tell them that they can watch the archives.
Tell them it's buy one, get one free.
That's right. If you go tell your friend, they can watch last week's show, and then if they wait for the time for us to be able to upload this episode, they can watch last week's show and this week's show. No cost. Absolutely not. In fact, you can go back and watch any older show, and it's still a 2 for. Should I give like 3 for 1, or is that too much?
Maybe
I'm giving it away
for the month of August.
for the month for the month of August, right? You can watch 3 full episodes for the price of none.
For the month of July.
For the month of oh, that's right. Well, no, let's bring it into August too. I'm crazy Dave. I'm giving you 3. Count them 3. 1, 2, 3. Count them 3 episodes for the price of none. All you got to do is just go to davesgoneby.com or archive.org and pay nothing down. There is 0 money down.
Do they run a credit check or anything?
No. We do a soft credit check.
Oh, wow.
We go to your credit and we go, hi, hello. You're you're a nice credit. As opposed to those hard credit checks, which, you need a catheter and it's not pleasant. But we don't need mother's maiden name. We don't need your social security, the last 4. Don't need anything. All you have to do is just go there, look around, poke around, and you get 3. But you know what? I'm just feeling crazy today. 4.
What about do you get strong woman and strength of a man?
See, and we do in-jokes on this show. Joyce is referring to a guy we listened to on the radio called David Squeezanaki, who was selling this, like, weird health herbal juice tonic thing that's supposed to cure everything. He's like an old-time carny guy selling piss with ink. And he's just on the radio hour after hour. He was a few months ago. He's not on as much.
Maybe he's, banned.
On this Caribbean station in New York. And so you just listen to him, and he's a great pitch man. He's full of shit, but he's a great pitch man. And it's like, oh, you buy 3 bottles, I give you 7 bottles free. You pay the shipping, you pay the handling, but you get 7 bottles for the price of 26. And it's like, look at, I mean, he just goes on and on about it. He does it brilliantly. So yeah, I will give you 7 episodes of Dave's Gone By. 7 episodes of your choosing. But they have to be between 2012 and 2016, and then 2019 through 2020. Just saying. They have to be those episodes, and I'll give you to them for the price of 26 full episodes. because of course it's all the same price. It's friggin' free. Well, let me tell you about the rest of this episode of Dave's Gone By, our 860th. We will have, coming up in a bit, Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We will have, fairly shortly, our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz. But before we get to that, why don't we do this now? And then we already have a guest who's getting ready to enter the Daverhood, which is fabulous. She's a little early, God bless her. So, one thing we do, Joyce and I lived for many years in the lovely, wonderful state of Colorado. Give me the moment to play the theme song of this segment, and I'll do it while that's playing, hopefully very quickly. Give me a minute. Okay, so we have I just got into my head to write a poem about all these different places in Colorado, from big towns to the tiniest little places with barely even a post office. And one of the places that we actually kind of lived near when we were living in Greeley is a place called Lyons, Colorado. Not like Lyons, but more like the Broadway play, The Lyons. Not that doesn't mean much to anybody, but Lyons is a place in Colorado. And I decided to write a poem about every place in Colorado, including just recently Lyons, Colorado. It's a nasty poem. It's a limerick. It's 5 lines long, which means it's rude and evil. How bad is this one? Is this one where you want to get the kids out of the room? I think it's not a nice one. I think this is one of the heavier, deeper, dark. Oh yeah. This is one of the R to X-rated ones. But I read it. I'll also tell you a little bit about Lyons, Colorado, when we do what I like to call our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And you're very lucky. It is a very special thing, because usually we save this towards the end of the program. But on this particular day, July 30th, I thought, why not? Why not bring this in early? Because a lot of people may listen to the first part of the show and don't even get to the end of the show 3 hours later. This is your chance to understand what you've been missing and why. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain, Colorado,
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned here in the Daverhood. So this is a poem that I wrote pretty recently about a place called Lyons, Colorado. And I'm not lying, let me tell you about it. It's a statutory town in Boulder County. So, you know how I told you about Maryland, there's Baltimore County, which is bigger than the city of Baltimore. There's a city of Boulder, but the county is greater and includes other stuff in it. Lyons has about 1,600 people in it. It's only 30 miles from Rocky Mountain National Park, and getting there is pretty simple. You've got 2 intersecting highways, which is why they call it the double gateway to the Rockies. Back in the day, Lyons, Colorado had all these different Indian tribes in it, particularly the Utes and the Plains Indians. But then Edward S. Lyon came along. He saw tons of sandstone around and said, hey, I can make a killing here. And so he started, mining sandstone there. Didn't do it all that successfully, but other people after him had very successful careers mining sandstone. And by the way, nobody has really an idea of why it wasn't simply Lyon, Colorado. Why they pluralized it out of nowhere. Maybe it was for his whole family. Don't know. Anyway, railroads then came. Mining became a very big industry. But then people realized that cement was probably cheaper and better and whatever than sandstone. And the economy just went, Until then, people realized that sandstone is a lot prettier than cement. So they used it for special stuff, and the economy went back up, yay, and became a big industry again. Lyons was in the news about a decade ago where it was one of those places where you watch on TV, giant flood, and the National Guard had to be there to help people vacate and evacuate. The town recovered. It has a history museum that used to be a schoolhouse, tons of culture, tons of arts. They have a bluegrass festival and a folk. I can't believe we never went. When we drove through, I can't believe we never went to a folk festival in Lyons, Colorado. We were so close. They have fly fishing and kayaking and all the usual hiking stuff. And if you've ever been to a liquor store or the supermarket and you've seen Oscar Blues, that beer, the brewery started there. Oskar. My beer has a first name, it's Oskar. My beer has a second name, it's Blues. We put them together and I get drunk. What?
No, I know the name.
Yeah, so Oscar Blues, they're big, but they started right there in Lyons, Colorado. They also, you would love this. They have a resort area in Lyons, Colorado, where people can come and stay in hotels and stuff. You know what they are? They're all tiny houses. Joyce is obsessed with these tiny houses. I think it's a horrible idea, but she, just to stay for a night or two in like this little place where everything is so little dollhousey is.
We'll go there next time.
But anyway, and here's the deal. This is something I would not do. On Valentine's Day in Lyons, Colorado, the Polar Bears Club gather and they jump into the St. Vrain River. So, I mean, at least they don't do it in December. They wait until February to do it. But yeah, a lot of stuff. It's a really cool place. Lyons, Colorado. We're going to take it down a peg because I have a Colorado Limerick of the Damned all about Lyons, Colorado. Ahem. A practical lady from Lyons donated her pussy to science. And now every week, some nerdy young geek abuses it with an appliance. Please send your comments and opinions and complaint letters to davesgoneby@aol.com. Dave's Gone By, DAVESGONEBY @AOL.com. You're also welcome, please, to friend me here and message me here right on this Facebook page, Dave's Gone By, as well as post underneath the show and make your little postings. I don't necessarily get to respond to everyone, but I certainly read them, whether it's an email or a message on here. The important thing is I would love to hear from you. Also, please feel free to follow my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. Well, it's game time. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. We have our first guest ready to come in and play our yesterday trivia quiz. Let me make sure that our usual pair of guests, I'm going to tell them it's time to play the quiz here. And look who's with us. It's Vicki Quade. Hello, Vicki. Good morning to you. Oh, wait. Unmute. Gotta get your mic going. Nope, haven't done it yet.
Got it. There it is.
Good morning to you, Vicki. Looking good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's been busy. It's been kind of crazy busy, but in a good way.
Right, well, you don't do the show during the week. How has it been busy for you?
Well, we're doing a show today out in the suburbs of Chicago, and
What?
I don't know if it's a millennial thing. I don't know, but a lot of my stage managers are young and they don't drive. Okay. It isn't that they don't have a car; they don't drive. And so
I wonder what that's like. Yeah.
I have a show. It's a performance of Late Night Catechism being done. A lot of good numbers of tickets been sold already, and I have got to be my own stage manager. So the kit, the costume, everything's in my car right now. But I was dealing with the venue on all of that this week. So, wow. Hey, David, how are you?
Good morning.
That person who just logged on, yay, is our beloved David Sheward. He is a theater critic. It's amazing. We have an actress and a theater critic, and they've never come to blows. David is a critic for TheaterLife.com and CulturalDaily.com. He also has a blog called The David Desk. So Vicki was telling us that been kind of a busy week for her and having to do her own stage management.
I had to stage manage myself today, a show today, because none of my stage managers drive. They don't have a car. And this is out in the suburbs. And it isn't like they don't have a car or you could rent them a car. No, they don't drive. They grew up in the city and they've gotten around with public transportation and they just don't drive.
So if you're your own stage manager, do you have like the thing where you have the intercom and you call yourself like 3 minutes? Or
I am often my own stage manager when I travel. Like when I went to Guam and Singapore, I didn't bring a stage manager. I just, I work with whatever the venues I go to. I work with their staff. But this is it's a big fundraiser for a parish, and they don't have anybody. I mean, they probably have somebody who knows how to turn the sound on, But I have an actor. One of my actresses is coming to do the show, and then and I'll do the stage management.
Lighting is like, all right, fluorescence on, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've been in places like this where they say, "Oh no, we have lighting," and then it's like a row of little, kitchen lights,
a couple of flashlights. These are.
Right.
Yeah, I did a show in Boulder in a church, and it was I think they had some level, or was it almost natural light? I almost forget.
Some lighting, but it wasn't like stage.
Yeah, well, it wasn't real lighting.
No. But churches are nice because you know what? They have a good sound system.
Oh.
Churches are really good to be in if they allow you to do that. A lot of them won't. They don't want a performance. But some of them will.
Now, David Sheward, I have a question for you. Are you still visiting somewhere, or that doesn't necessarily look like your domicile?
No, I'm back. I'm back in my home.
That's David. There's all his posters in the back.
There they are. Okay, I can see them.
I'm back in my home. I was visiting my brother last week in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, but I am back.
So, how was this week for you, David?
Okay. A little. It's we're on vacation, summer vacation.
Yeah.
And I'm visiting my mother next weekend, and we're going to Maine, where she's from. So I don't know if I'll be available next weekend. But it's not too much is going on.
Is it hedging? Is everything okay?
I'm trying to think of something interesting to discuss. I went to see Oresteia at Park Avenue Armory, and which was interesting. I'm working on my review. It's complicated. It's a complicated.
What is that about? What's the story?
It is based on the legend, the Greek tragedy of Oresteia by Aeschylus, where Agamemnon kills his daughter Iphigenia, and then his wife Clytemnestra kills him, and then in revenge, the son Orestes kills the mother. And
is it a musical?
Yes. I'm gonna kill you, Mom. You killed Dad, so I'm gonna kill you.
And it's like 4 hours long, isn't it? But
it's almost 4 hours long. And I didn't enjoy it as much as the Hamlet they did in repertory.
Oh, okay. So there's what choice?
But I have to think. But there's several very good things about it, and a lot of I've written a couple of blogs about what's going on. Into the Woods is extending. The piano lesson is moving to the Barrymore instead of the St. James, where Into the Woods is. And To Kill a Mockingbird is not coming back to Broadway.
Oh, I didn't know that was for sure. But
that's for sure. It's definitely not coming back.
Is that a good thing, or is it, what do you think?
I don't know. Evidently, the New York Times got a hold of some emails that Scott Rudin sent to the director and the playwright, and he sort of reinserted himself. He stepped back because of all these complaints that were received about him being a bad boss and a nasty guy. Yeah. And evidently, he sort of stepped back into making the decisions for that show, and he decided it isn't worth it. We're not going to make any money. So let's just continue with the tour with Richard Thomas rather than bringing it back to Broadway because it's going to be too expensive.
I would have liked to have seen it with Richard Thomas, I gotta say.
Well, it's out in the country somewhere with him, I think. Interestingly, he was in one of the movies that I also, one of the highlights of the week was to watch the HBO Max docuseries on Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward.
Oh, was that good? Is it? Yeah.
Yes, very, very, very good, very interesting. And Richard Thomas played their son in a movie from the late 60s called Winning, when he was like the teenage actor. Every time you needed a good teenage actor, it was Richard Thomas.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, wait. That was, I thought you meant Paul Newman and their kid was the actor of the time. Richard Thomas, of course, was.
Richard Thomas played their kid.
Yeah, played their
and kid. In a rareness, he actually could look like their kid. You know, unlike sometimes they cast people, you're like, there's no way this would be a child of these two actors.
Right. And their real life son, Scott Newman, died of a drug and alcohol abuse, which was very sad.
Yeah.
So, well, on that happy note, let's begin. We're waiting, of course, for our third, but that doesn't mean we can't play the game until she comes with us.
All right.
So we're waiting for Leslie Hoban Blake, of course. Let us begin, though. You know how to play the game. It's a trivia game. Every question is worth 2 points if you get it right. But if the other person steals it, if you get it wrong, they get the 2 points instead. But there's no penalty for a wrong answer. Let me ask you, Vicki Quade, if you would kindly, and be ever so kind, to choose a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is.
I'm going to choose 2.
2 for Vicki. And David Sheward, are we going with the 3?
Yeah, I'll pick 3.
David with a 3. I'm going to roll the die.
Should we just pick the 6 for Leslie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we know she's going to take it, so.
Oh, I hit a 5. I'm rolling a digital die, by the way, folks. That 4, 5, and then 5 again. 6. Leslie would have taken that one. 4, 6. Jesus Christ. 5, 2.
Come on, Leslie, come on.
2.
Vicki, you can decide whether you want to go first or second or technically third.
I'll go first.
Vicki first. David Sheward, you are by nature second at the moment.
All right.
Here we go. All of these questions, well, some of these questions have to do with things that happened in history, in the world, on this date, July 30th. So, I mean, we all, if you've been watching this show, you know the game. You guys know the game. It's great to have both of you here. And we hope to have Leslie in the room. I keep checking my phone to see if she's, no. Okay. Let us begin. Vicki, we're going all the way back to 1419.
Okay. Oh, my God.
Theater people know Jan Hus because of the old Jan Hus Playhouse on East 74th Street in New York. But Protestants know Jan Hus because he represented an early call to reform the Catholic Church. That's why he was burned at the stake. On this date, his followers, called Hussites, fought back in what was called the defenestration of Prague. They threw a bunch of the king's representatives out the windows and into the street. But what else do we know about Jan Hus? Or which of these is false about Jan Hus? Here we go.
Cool.
And of course, now we have our Leslie trying to join us.
Oh, good.
Jan Hus, which of these is false? A, Jan Hus was a feminist who thought women belonged on the same level as men. B, after his burning, Hus's followers came at night to gather his ashes, though their whereabouts are now unknown. C, a memorial statue of Hus is in Prague's Old Town Square and was paid for entirely by donations. Or D, there's a memorial statue of Jan Hus on Long Island in the town of Bohemia. Welcome, Leslie. We're in the middle of a question. We'll get to in a mo. But, Vicki?
Oh, can't hear you, Leslie.
Good morning. Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Okay, which of those is false? He was a feminist. His ashes, they scooped up. We don't know where they're at. There's a statue of him in Prague, and there's another statue in New York, right?
On Long Island, in the town of Bohemia.
Bohemia. God, I've been in Prague. I don't remember a statue of him in Prague, but that doesn't mean anything. There's lots of statues in Prague. I'm going to say that they did not scoop up his ashes. I'm just saying that. I have no idea.
Is that your final
1000% yes. Yes.
Well, you know what song they were singing when they were burning him at the stake? Burning down the horse. I just thought of that. Thank you very much. And you are burning up the game, Vicki Quade, because you just got yourself 2 points.
Excellent. That is true. Very good.
What actually happened was that Young Hus.
Are you sure it wasn't smoke on the water? They were.
Oh, no, but literally, actually, you hit on something there. It was on the water. They took his ashes and scattered them in the Rhine so that they wouldn't make a shrine to him. They wouldn't have a place where they would go. Sure. Kind of like we did with Bin Laden, right? Getting on the water and getting
Who's cleaning?
Was that Jan Hus you were talking about?
Yeah. Did you ever do a show at the Jan Hus Playhouse, Leslie?
I was going to say I saw them. I never did, but I went up to see them up there. The Jewish Rep used to play there.
Right. Not up on 91st. This is on 71st.
Yes. There were two. There was Stanley Brecker's place that was underneath the supermarket, and then there was Jewish. There was a Jewish repertory, and there was something else.
American Jewish was over on 26th.
Well, the one that used to play up at 91st Street.
As a matter of fact, Joyce and my first date was at the American Jewish Theater. We went to see the Coconuts.
Up at 91st Street.
That was age 18.
Oh, underneath the okay.
Just so you know. Anyway.
I ran cabaret shows for Stanley at midnight down there.
Oh my God. Well, by the way, Leslie, how are you? How was your week?
Oh, it was very good, thank you. I didn't do very much, but it was a good week. All in all, I'm still here. I reckon that's a big.
Yes.
That's a big plus. We got a lot of work done on the show, so that's a big plus. For us. I'm sorry, I feel like Donald Trump. I'm doing a comb over here, and I can't get it to stay. There we go. Because I'm. It's counterintuitive when I'm on the air, so I pushed it the wrong way. I got it now. Thank you.
You look lovely.
Yeah, thank you very much. I wasn't going for that, but thank you.
So Leslie, I need you. We were all assuming.
Yes, I'm 6. It's fine. Go ahead. I love your background. Oh my God, you're going to tell me you're out in your garden now. I love it.
I do have a garden on the deck, and I have been I got cucumbers, and the tomatoes are coming in, but they're not red yet, but there's a lot of them.
I never took advantage. I had a great big terrace, and I never took advantage of actually growing tomatoes and cucumbers and things.
And I'm just growing them in pots. I mean,
yeah, I know. I should have done that. Well, I don't have one now, so I can't.
Yeah, you can get pot all over New York, but it's rather different. All right, we have our next question, which goes directly, because Leslie, you're late, so you're coming third. But David now goes for question number 2 in our today trivia quiz. The year was 1792. Within weeks after it was composed by Roger de Lisle, the Marseillaise became the marching song of the French Revolution against Austria, with troops singing it as they marched into Paris on this date. Which of these is not a song lyric translated into English from the Marseillaise?
Oh, okay.
A, sacred love of the fatherland, support our avenging arms. B, your parricidal schemes will finally reveal their prize. C, they're coming to cut the throats of your sons, your women. Or D, let the fields be watered with our pure blood if it must.
The best song, the best national anthem ever.
So, which of these is not an English translation of lyrics in the Marseillaise?
In the Marseillaise, yes.
Yeah, I only know, I vaguely know, so I don't really know it that well. I know "Allons enfants de la patrie," something.
It makes you want to go like this, doesn't it?
And that's seen in...
One always thinks of it as a song about
right?
Love and equality, not about slitting throats and,
and the song, and they
son.
sing it, Marchand, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I'm thinking of the scene in Casablanca.
Right.
Where everybody in the club is all excited.
Where Rick gives his approval, where Rick nods.
Yeah.
He gives his approval.
When they come from me, Rick, I hope you're more of a help.
Yeah,
I stick my neck out.
Shocked that there's gambling going on here.
I stick my neck out for nobody.
Sir, your winnings.
All right. Oh, thank you very much.
Did anybody win last night?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Claude Rains should have won the Oscar for that, but he didn't.
Oh my God, so fabulous.
I think it was Charles Coburn in The More the Merrier. Anyway, all right, let's see. Sacred Love. I didn't wrote down all the lyrics because I couldn't do. So Sacred Love, Parasitical Schemes, Cut Your Throats, Pure Blood. It could be any one of them, you know. I think Sacred, okay, Pure Blood, I think is in there. I think it is. The question is, will Cut Your Throats and Sacred Love sounds like it's in there. Les enfants. It's something like the children, the gist of it is the children are coming to get you or coming to do something. All right, I'll say C, Cut Your Throats.
Is not in the song. It's not a line.
You know what? Yeah, I think you wouldn't do two B's in a row. So I'll go with C, Cut Your Throats.
Well, I would put two B's in a row if I was trying to create a buzz.
Yes.
Okay, so you're
Or
saying
honey.
C. It is not true that there's a line in there. They're coming to cut the throats of your sons, your women. Final answer?
Yeah.
Nice.
Almost. Wow.
Whoa, very nice.
A little bit of it. Wow.
But you did not have it, David. That's actually a line in the song.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's one of my favorite lines.
Well, what is it in French?
Because you're like you do go da 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 da, but then you're actually singing, "We're gonna come and slit your throat.
We're gonna rape your women now." It's like, Jesus Christ. Oh, Leslie, look at you. I rolled a 6.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm concerned because the pure blood thing sounds more like it's from a German number than a French number, and because they were all French, it had nothing to do with pure blood. So I'm going to assume that is not part of the Marseillaise. It's not part of the function of what the song is about.
So
I'm going to say D.
D. There's not a line in the Marseillaise that says, "Let the fields."
That's my thought, because I don't know any of these lyrics from the Marseillaise. None of them.
Even in French, but okay.
I know them in French and I know them in English, but not this far in. I know the beginning.
Yeah, there's
like
a bunch of stanzas and stuff. Yeah, it's like an 84-minute song. It's very.
Oh my God.
No, it's not. No, but anyway.
It's enough to fight an entire war.
Yeah.
D is your final.
Yeah, D is my final.
Well, your answer is indeed pure. Leslie O'Van Blake, you get 2 points.
But not the right one.
Yes.
Oh.
Well done, Leslie.
Oh, it was the right answer? Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lyric in the Marseillaise that says, "Let an impure blood water our furrows, water our trenches." So
really,
there's an idea of impure blood in there, but not, take our pure blood and.
Right. Okay. It just sounded very Germanic to me, and not.
Me too. I was. So that's why I wrote it. It's not theirs. Leslie,
don't say that. Don't say that, David. Don't say it. It sounded Germanic, so that's why I wrote it. Don't say that. It's not a nice thing to say.
Okay.
Since when has that been a criteria for not saying something around here?
No. I'm just thinking of Nazis and Germans. That's all.
All I do is think of Nazis and Germans. Anyway, yes. we have a two-way tie between
the two ladies. Yes.
The women are ahead.
The women are doing it. Man.
Hooray!
So, David, you're not out of it by any stretch, and we're only still in the first round but here's the deal, Leslie, you can break the tie if you get this question right.
This is my question, right?
This is your question.
Okay. Boy, I hit the ground running, right? Here we go.
Yeah. You come in late, you upset the apple cart, and then you come in and win. So let's see how we do.
I didn't win. I answered a question. I didn't win.
Yeah. Correctly.
Correct one, yeah. Here's your question, Leslie. 1935 was the year. On this date, launched today in England is Penguin Books, designed as an inexpensive way for the masses to access cheap literature, or literature cheaply. According to Good Housekeeping, which of these is false about penguins? A, Every year, a penguin sheds about a third of its feathers, so that over the course of 3 years, it has an entirely new penguin coat. B, they can drink seawater because they have a gland above their eye that filters salt out of their blood. C, one breed of prehistoric penguin stood nearly 6 feet tall. Or D, emperor penguins incubate eggs with their feet.
You know, we've all watched all of these penguin movies, so we know a lot of this stuff, I think. And I think C and D are true. So I'm going to look at A and B. You said they lose a third of their feathers, so every 3 years they have a new coat. I don't know about this gland over the eye. They have a gland over their eye that does what?
B is they can drink seawater because they have a gland above their eye that filters salt out of their blood.
I don't think that's even physiologically possible. It sounds really weird. However, I never took anatomy, so I have no idea. I'm going to go with B. It sticks with me for some reason. It's just like, I think the others, the two bottom ones are true, I think. Giving you all a clue in case you get to answer.
Right. So, are you going to go with B?
Yeah, I'm going to go with B. Even though there was a B, yes.
Here we go. 'Cause I'm feeling gland all over. I'm feeling gland all over. But Leslie, you are wrong. So I'm going to roll the die. All
okay.
Right. It is true. They have a thing, right? Like.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that is totally weird.
Weird.
So let's see who can steal this question. 1, 5, 4. Somebody's got a 4. Is that no? I'm sorry. Nobody has a 4. 5, 4. Jeepers. 4, 5. Jesus Christ. 5, 5. But what the 4, 6. I gotta get it there. Oh, look at this. Vicki. I just made a number 2 for you. It's steamy. Make the most of it.
All right. So they were prehistorically 6 feet tall. They, I think Leslie's right. I have seen that they incubate the eggs with their feet. I've seen that. What's the first one?
First one is A. Every year, a penguin sheds about a third of its feathers, so that over the course of 3 years, it has an entirely new penguin coat.
That might be true. I'm going to say they were not 6 feet tall.
Is that your final answer?
Sure. Guess. Let's just say my final guess.
Short penguins got no reason. Anyway, but I have a reason to roll the die again because that is not the correct answer. Won't bring a prehistoric penguin.
They were 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Do you have to roll the die? You don't even have to.
No, actually, David Sheward.
They were tall.
Oh, keep on rolling. Let's see how long it takes you to get to David. Go ahead.
Right.
All right. So my choices are they shed their feathers and every 3 years they have a whole new body. Or D,
a coat, a whole new.
Okay, now, all right. Now I think I did see that movie that Morgan Freeman narrated about the March of the Penguins or whatever it was called.
Tuxedo Junction? No, yeah.
Now, could you read D again just so I have it?
Well, D is emperor penguins incubate eggs with their feet.
I think that's I think that's true because I remember the mothers lay the eggs and then the fathers have to have the eggs. They have them between their feet and they walk around with them for a while. But the question is that incubating it or not? No, I think that's true. So I'm going to say A.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you guys are all now birds of a feather because you're all tied with 2 points.
Excellent.
End of the round 1. Here's the deal, though. This is what happens with penguins. Once a year, a penguin goes through, quote, a catastrophic molt. Nothing really hard. Wow. They just call it that. And it loses everything and gets it back every year. So they all go through this giant molt. And then
what do they do for warmth during the time their feathers are all gone?
They find a fireplace. They go into a bar. They have a couple of drinks. It's nice. It's snug. They wear a Snuggie. In fact,
a kangaroo and a penguin walked into a bar, right? I know that.
Hey, Al, it's time for the catastrophic malt. Oh, damn. Well,
I got to sweep the floor again.
If a kangaroo and a penguin go into a bar, you know what they play? Pocket pool.
No.
Okay, now let's.
They play what?
Pocket pool.
I get it.
He gets it. Okay, no one should get
that. AKA snooker, or is pocket pool a euphemism for something else? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, never mind.
You know who taught me? Who I had no idea, but I was taught that phrase by the husband of Lucy Arnaz, Larry Luckenbill.
Oh, yeah.
When I interviewed him, I was at Playbill, and he was doing a one-man show about Lyndon Johnson.
I remember that show.
Lyndon Johnson was known for playing pocket pool. And I'm like, what? He would go to bars in Texas, and it's like, no, has to do with his hand down there fiddling.
In his pocket.
Yeah.
By the way, that was an excellent show, and it was the first time I thought, oh, maybe I was wrong about Lyndon Johnson.
Right? It sort of.
It was a really good show. He was very good in that role.
I saw in another documentary, I saw that he did have his pants tailored so that he had a longer pocket.
Really? Whoa. Wow. I didn't even see that. Wow.
See, I don't need that. My pocket can be all the way up here, and I can still reach. That's my luck. Okay, we have a three-way tie as opposed to a three-way with our pockets. Two.
Yes, we're off to a great start. We're talking dirty already. Okay.
Good.
And here we go.
But all three of the questions have been answered correctly, so that's good.
So that's good.
By somebody.
Well, by David.
Right. You've not stumped us.
David would rather stump us, so that doesn't
No, it gets. If I stump every question, I realize I'm going too far, and then I've got to.
Oh, I see.
Go back a little bit because there's no fun there.
You go too far, David. Never. No one would ever accuse you of that.
You know, Leslie, I wish I could give you this, but our next question goes to Vicki Quade. And guess
what? Three news?
Just to punish me for being smart mouth, right? Okay.
All right.
So this is a different kind of question, everybody, folks watching.
I'm sure I won't get it.
Maybe you will, maybe you won't. 3 clues means that we're going to give you 3 words that are not connected to each other. They are individually connected to the word that we're looking for, and then that word happens to have been in the news over the past week or so. Okay? Got it. Here we go. The 3 clues in the news are poison, ridge, tree.
Oh. Poison, ridge, tree. My head is thinking all sorts of words that don't fit. Tree. Tree trim, but it's not trim poison or not trim tap. No, what is it? It's poison.
Ridge.
Ridge. Okay, entry. Ridge. Ridge. Ridgeway. Ridge. And then in the news, you know, it's like ridge, tree. Jesus. No, that's not it.
Depends on the tree it was nailed to, but yeah.
Say that to a nun. Don't say that to a nun.
Days off in purgatory if you take it back.
At least he was well hung. All right, so sorry. Yes.
Oh my God, I just have no idea. I'm trying to think what's in the news. Oh goodness. And then try to figure out what's the common word. Tree, ridge.
Poison.
Poison pen, poison ring, poison tree ring, ridge ring, poison ring, poison pill, poison, no, rat poison. Rat. I'm gonna say rat. Now I know it's wrong, but I just like saying the word rat.
Final answer?
My final wrong answer.
Well, technically squeaking, rats have been in the news a lot, but that is not the correct answer. I'm going to roll the die and see who gets to potentially steal. So I just hit a number 2, that was Vicky's number, and I just hit a number 6, which is Leslie's.
Leslie, come on, Leslie.
Okay, thank you. I like the ring. I like that a lot. I mean, the tree ring and the poison ring certainly makes sense. I don't know what ridge ring would be.
No.
I was going with snake. I got, poison snake tree, but I don't know where the ridge comes in on that either. The only ridge I know is Heartbreak Ridge from the Korean War movie of the same name. That's, as I learn all my history from movies. So I don't know. I'll go with, I'll go, and I'll split the points with you too. I will go with ring if it happens to be right, which I don't think it is. Ring.
Put the ring on your finger.
But if it's right, she gets half the point.
That's sweet.
Vicky gets half the point.
Yeah, you are sweet. The wrong answer.
No,
okay, well, that's not very generous, but nothing is at stake. Go ahead.
David Sheward.
All right.
Can you do it, David?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I thought a pill, but there's not a pill ridge and there's not a pill tree, unless you go to Neely O'Hara's house. Poison, and it's not poison ivy, or maybe it is. Ivy ridge, ivy tree. And what would be ivy this week? Did someone die or something? I thought of Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver. He died, but that doesn't make any sense at all either. Who died this week? Paul Sorvino died, but that doesn't work. And
what was his character's name? What was his most famous character's name?
Mumbles.
That doesn't know.
No, that was Dustin Hoffman. I forget who he played, Dick Tracy. Poison Ridge tree. Oh, maybe it's bark. Or oak. It's oak.
Poison oak tree.
Oak ridge.
Oak ridge.
I'm gonna say oak.
That is. You're right.
Very good.
You're right.
Very good. Sometimes overthinking helps.
Excellent.
You are okay by me. What got it? You got it. When he was saying ivy, I'm like, oh, he's so close. But it is oak. It's poison oak, Oak Ridge, like the Oak Ridge Boys, and oak tree. And it's oak because, anybody know?
I used to live on Oak Street. I don't know.
I used to live on Oak Drive. No, the biggest fire that's going on in.
Burn up the oak tree, the biggest, oldest oak tree.
Or it was the Oak Fire. They're calling the thing the Oak Fire.
Oh. No, I in Colorado, or where is it?
No, Yosemite. Where's Yosemite National Park?
Oh, okay.
So you should have asked Sam, and he would have known. So there you go. Yosemite.
Okay. Good job, David.
Very good job. Yeah, and that was a case of overthinking paying off.
Yeah, right. Well, I finally realized have that happen. It had to be oak because there isn't any other poison word that really fits.
Bravo, David Sheward. You got it.
Bravo, David.
Well done. Well done. And you're in the lead. David,
and it's my turn.
And it's your turn. You're even more in the lead.
This is big. This is David Sheward can really put some points on the board here. But this is not a 3 clues in the This is a standard class.
Okay.
Multiple choice.
You'll save that for me, David. I'll get the next one. It's okay.
Now, you might enjoy this one. The year was 1947. Born today in Thal, Austria, is the most famous bodybuilder ever, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Which of these is false or false about Arnold?
Oh, okay.
A. When making The Terminator, he asked director James Cameron if he could change the line, "I'll be back," to "I will be back," because it was easier to pronounce. B. The 2014 follow-up to Arnold's 1992 autobiography is called I'm Back. C. As a child, he had a bad relationship with his father, who suspected that Arnold was illegitimate. Or D. Arnold asked the Simon Wiesenthal Center to investigate whether his father had committed any atrocities during World War II.
I think I did read his book a long, long time ago. I think it's I think it's B. I'll say B.
You're saying it is not true that the 2014
Yeah, I think it's called something. I think his book is called something else.
Final answer?
Yes, yes.
David Sheward, I am always amazed by your total recall. That was the name of the book, and you got it. It was this, yes, Total Recall. He did write a book. It was 2013's book, which was actually his first biographical book since 1977's Arnold, The Education of a Bodybuilder. So you got that right. Let me give you some Arnold Schwarzenegger trivia here.
He loved his father.
Well, no.
But that doesn't mean that he wouldn't want to find out if he committed atrocities.
Yeah,
I do remember when that was reported that he asked them to look into that. I remember that.
What happened was his father volunteered to be a Nazi, as a lot of people did back then, but they found no evidence he was a war criminal when he went to the Wiesenthal Center, although in later times, later investigations showed he was a stormtrooper, albeit post-Kristallnacht. Well, that's Arnold's dad.
Yeah, these little distinctions, these fine distinctions, you know. Yeah, right.
It was after Kristallnacht. It was fine. They played pocket pool.
So was he illegitimate? I mean, did he have a different biological
father?
Father
Suspected he was illegitimate, and his father did not like him for that reason. You know, he never got along with his dad. That was true.
Oh, I thought he made a speech once about how much he respected his father, which is not the same as loving your father. So you know,
that's true. Yeah.
And it is true that Arnold wanted to change. He begged James Cameron to change the line "I'll be back" to "I will be back" or "I will come back," and Cameron said no. But he promised Arnold, "I will take this shot as many times as I have to." To get
well, that was nice.
I can see, where his pronunciation.
And he got it on the 732nd
I was
shot.
going to say, do we know how many? Was it like 52 or something?
It was worth the wait, wasn't it? I'll bet you when he got the promise that was okay, he probably got it on the third take.
But I think it's interesting about the illegitimacy because, of course, he had that kid with his maid, and that boy is living a good life because he not only accepted him but said, "Yeah, this is my son," and he treated him like his son. So that was nice of him.
It was more than just an encounter, from what I understand.
It was
what?
It was more than just an encounter.
Evidently, it was a real relationship, although I can't understand how, but that's okay. Never mind.
Wow. Man are man. But here's the deal. David Sheward, you are a man, and you have 6 points. You are a mighty, mighty man.
Holy tomatoes, David.
Terrific.
So it's going to get tough for these other folks to catch up, but they
these other folks.
They get tomatoes catch up. All right, here's the deal, though. Our next question, it's our third question in our second round, and it goes directly to Leslie Hoban Blake. Yeah, Leslie, you're smiling now.
Oh dear.
Oh no!
I told you he was going to give me the next one. I told you he would figure out a way to give
another
it to me.
3 clues.
Even when he ostensibly makes it random, I know I get at least one of them. Okay.
Well, yeah. Sometimes I do 3 of them, so everybody gets one.
Right. One week I got 2 of them. Go ahead.
Well, here's the deal. You get this one. It's 3 clues in the news. 3 words connected to another word that we're looking for in the news.
Because I love them, so go ahead.
So the words' names are going to be connected to what we're looking for.
It's Poison Ridge.
Wow, let me think. Oak. I got it. Okay, go ahead.
Control. Line.
Thanks, guys, for the help. Okay.
Control.
Shah, as my grandmother would say. My Russian grandmother would say Shah.
Okay, I got a tiebreaker.
For this.
So it's clear. And remember, it can be words, names, whatever it is. It is
Yeah. Just do them, please.
Yes, ma'am. The clues.
I get very anxious about this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The clues are wolf, time, brothers.
Okay, give me a second.
Wolf, time, brothers. Brothers.
Oh.
Sha.
This is Leslie's question here.
Oh dear.
Dave, could you read them again? It's Wolf.
Okay, the clues are, it's Leslie's question, but the clues are.
No, that's right.
Wolf, time, brothers.
Mm. Mm.
I got a list here of things I know are not right. I mean, the list is growing, and I'm coming up with nothing here.
That's what Joyce did the 2 nights before I married her. She was like, but anyway, yes.
Oh, I have no idea. I actually came up with laser when you said wolf. I came up with laser.
Oh,
which is useless. Unless there's Lazar brothers, Laser and Lazar. That's a possibility.
Here's my wedding present if she marries Laser Wolf.
Mazel tov.
Air, A-I-R, and I know it's wrong.
Is that your final answer? Okay. The classic Leslie, like, whatever. No, Airwolf. I think Airwolf was a TV show, and
yes. Yeah, Air was good. It was a good one.
Very good. Air Brothers, not so much, which is why you don't get the questions. So I'm going to roll the die though, and see what we come up with. On number 4, I don't think this die has ever rolled a number 3. This is ridiculous. 5, 2. Vicki.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Well, I can also get it wrong. Let's see. Because I was like Wolf Trap, Wolf Frame, Time Frame. Yeah, but Frame Brothers doesn't, or Brothers Frame doesn't, Wolf, Wild Brothers, Wild Time, Wild. I'll say Wild. It's wrong, but I'm going to say it.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Well, you would have driven us wild if you had gotten that right, but no, that is not the correct answer.
Okay.
And that was a little, I will say, you'll find out, that was a little tougher for Vicki than it might have been for David and Leslie. So, David.
Oh, really? Oh, David's been suspiciously quiet, so maybe he's got it in his back pocket and he's just waiting.
It's not Virginia, because it doesn't make sense to say Virginia time.
Right.
Or Virginia Brothers, and it's not Blitzer, because Blitzer time, Blitzer Brothers, brothers, and the only brothers I can think of are the Wright brothers, Wolf Wright, and it's not the Smothers brothers, it's not the James brothers, and it's not, who are some famous brothers?
Oh.
Brothers.
The Smith brothers.
Yeah.
Cough drops.
Yeah. But it's not Smith time, it's Smith Wolf. Wolf.
Dr. Brothers.
And it's not Pack.
Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Yeah, and it's not Pack Brothers. Pack Time. Bomb. Wolf Bomb. Time Limit. Wolf Limit. Brothers.
That's the tough one.
Wright brothers, who are famous brothers? The Nixon brothers, the Quade brothers,
the Bridges, Wolf Bridges, Time Bridges.
Wolf Bridges. Oh, Bandits? I'm just going to say Bandits because I can't think of anything else.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
I guess I've stolen this question from you guys. The first time I've stumped the panel. You're gonna kick yourself, David, on this one, but because Bandits, Band of Brothers, No. How will I go with this one, David?
If it's Lehman Brothers, I'm going to slip my wrist.
Lehman Wolf.
Not Lehman. It's not Lehman. David Sheward. What did you grow up watching?
Cartoons.
By
Warner Brothers.
Oh.
Wolf. Time Warner.
Oh.
Warner Wolf. How do I know that?
See, this is why I said Vicki probably wouldn't.
It was a newscaster or something, Warner Wolf.
Oh, Warner Wolf.
Sportscaster for like 30 years in New York. I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't know that.
I did see him when I moved here in the 80s.
Time Warner. That was so specific.
Warner.
I thought that was just
Warner
like New York centric.
Warner Brothers, Time Warner.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
So, what was it in the news about?
Warner.
Yeah.
The passing of actor David Warner.
My God! Who was in Time Bandits, by the way?
He was in Time Bandits, yeah.
Yes. I thought nobody made a big deal out of it, and I completely forgot it when we went through.
Yeah, I forgot. I was trying to think of people who died, but he was in my mind.
Yes. Oh.
He was in Tom Jones. He was in Straw.
Two things. I knew David Warner just in passing because I was in Stratford as a student. Yeah. When he was part of the Royal Shakespeare Company. So we would sit at opposite ends of the bar and smile because, but I mean, I didn't really know him. I don't want to put that in. But
you can tell the truth here, Leslie. You're really cute.
I'm going to tell a quick story. The reason I came up with Airwolf is, does anybody remember Tom Bray from Airwolf? He was a geeky little guy with the glasses.
No.
Me? No. Who? Tom who?
Tom Bray, B-R-A-Y. He was like a geek. He wore glasses.
Oh, the name sounds familiar.
Never mind. I'm not going to bother telling the story if you don't know.
No, tell the story. Okay. We can look them up. I'll look up the picture of Tom Bray.
I was Lauren Bacall. I did Applause, and I went on the road. And among my many co-stars, was Tom Bray at a particular place, and they came to see him because he was famous. I was not famous. I got the reviews, but they came to see him. I thought that was very funny. Little girls would wait for him and whatnot.
Oh.
That's it. That's my story. No, and he looked, unfortunately.
That's not fair. You can't really see it.
No, did he play?
It's reflecting.
Was
he
radioactive or something? Was he?
Is that Tom Bray?
Yeah.
Did he play the Len Cariou part?
Yes, he played the Len Cariou part.
There he is. Can you see him?
He looks like a person.
Yes. How do you happen to have a picture of him?
I just looked him up.
It's called Google.
Oh, I thought that was like you were his best friend. But at the time, he still looked 12. I mean, I know he was supposed to be younger than the Lauren Bacall role, but he looked more like her son when we did it in that particular show.
Oh, well. All right. So here's the deal. We are going into the third and final round of our yesterday,
2 and 6
quiz. David has 6. Leslie has 2. Vicki has 2, which means that it is still, at least at this question, anybody's game. We can
not quite anybody's. It could be a tie, but that's the closest it could come.
Actually, no. Questions.
We have a whole game. Oh, so we have. You're right. And math was never my subject either.
Obviously not. So here's the deal. And by the way, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable and sleeping wife, because that's how exciting this show is for her. She's a little under the weather, so she's
not COVID, I hope.
No. We were in a car a lot, and she had she gets car sick and stuff. Because she has to look at me. So here's the deal. We're with Vicki Quade, we're with Leslie Hoban Blake, and with David Sheward on the 860th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream Live.
Who was your guest this morning?
We didn't have one. Today is just all me and you guys.
All day? Okay.
Just as good.
All Dave, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Which is why, his lovely wife is sleeping.
Semi-sleeping. I think she just moved her knee. I see.
Leave her alone. If she's tired or doesn't feel well, leave her alone. Leave her
alone. All right, but we have our third round to do of the game. So let's see what happens here. And Vicki, you have 2 points. You're 4 away from David Sheward. Let's see how you manage this.
Okay.
The year was 1948.
Okay.
Going for the gold in the London Olympics is legendary runner Emil Zagopek, who runs 10,000 meters, a little over 6 miles, in less than 30 minutes. He would win 3 gold medals in 1952. But which of these is false about Emil Zatopek? A. Zatopek spent nearly 3 years in prison for his anti-communist speeches during the Prague Spring. B. His nickname was the Czech Locomotive. C. His wife won Olympic gold medal for throwing the javelin. Or D. Zatopek began running when he was forced to by the sports coach of the shoe factory where he worked.
If that's true, that's really great. And then he went on to win. His boss must have been very proud. Okay, he married somebody, or his wife could throw the javelin. That's possible. He spent 3 years in prison, and he was called the Czech something or other.
Locomotive.
Locomotive.
I believe that. Sometimes these are trick questions. Like, he may have spent time in prison, but maybe it was not 3 years. Maybe it was 3 months. Maybe he didn't spend any time at all in that prison. I don't know. What's the third one? Oh, the
third one is his wife won an Olympic.
Oh, what's the second one?
The javelin. Second one is his nickname was the Czech Locomotive.
Oh yeah. And then the fact that his boss, the shoe factory.
The sports coach of the shoe factory where he worked. Yeah.
Have a sports coach at a shoe factory?
I know it seems a little odd, but they were making shoes.
I guess that's what they do in communist countries.
Funny, they don't look shoeish.
But it was communist.
I heard that one, David.
We spend time in prison, maybe as a young man. Ugh. All right, this is a tough one. I'm gonna stick with the first, the prison. I don't know that he spent 3 years in prison.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Vicki Quade, this is your get out of jail free 2 points that you get because you got the correct. Boy, I screwed up that saying that, but yes, here's the deal. Emil Zatopek had been a loyal party member, but he became critical of them. So they bumped him out of the party, they stripped him of his army rank, and they gave him these horrible, menial, low-level apparatchik jobs for many, many years. But he never went to prison. They never did that to him. And then when Václav Havel became president, they rehabilitated his name and his career in Czechoslovakia. So well done. Yay.
Excellent.
That was A, right?
That was letter A.
Okay.
So Vicki Quade now with 4 points. And I do want to give this is really cute. This is really sweet. From the Wikipedia listing about Emil Zatopek. An example of the playful relationship between him and his wife, Dana, came when Emil tried to take some credit at her press conference for winning the javelin throw. And he said he inspired her Olympic victory. And she replied, really? Okay, go inspire some other girl and see if she throws a javelin 50 meters. This is quite wonderful. They have
I thought he learned how to run with trying to get away from the communist guns. That's how I thought he learned how to run.
Anybody remember? I remember that name. There was a wonderful documentary that I've never seen again. It was a series called Olympiad that they did back in the 70s or 80s.
No, that's the title of the movie by
No. It was called the Olympiad. It was Bud Greenspan put together as 10-part series of all the Olympic stories back in the days. I wish I could see it again. It was wonderful. And it set the template for Wild World of Sports and all.
Probably on YouTube somewhere. Everything's on YouTube,
I guess. Anyway.
I saw something a year ago during the worst of the pandemic, I suppose, and it was a series of scandals in the Olympic or scandals in sports. It was really interesting. Look that up.
Yeah. Scandals and sport. I think we saw that too on maybe Netflix or something. They did one.
Yeah, and one of them was the Russians or somebody. They cheated in the scoring, and there's all those kind of stories, and you're like,
Yeah, no, I think actually does sound really interesting. But what's even more interesting is that our game has tightened up.
Okay.
6 points. Vicki with 4.
Okay, the pressure is mounting. Okay.
Okay, David.
All right, so now it's my turn.
It is your turn. And guess what turn it is for you to do?
3.
3 clues in the news? You're doing 3 of them?
It's the worst.
Okay.
I love it though.
Okay, go ahead.
You'd be 3 for 3 if you get this one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Come on, David.
All right,
Come on, David. You got your own record to break
Go
here.
ahead.
And he will win the game if he gets this correct, actually. So here's your 3 clues in the news connected to something in the news this week.
Okay.
The clues are tall, purchase, gag.
Order. I'm going to say order.
Is that your final answer?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, David Sheward, I'm very
That's
happy
amazing.
to your order for the win on this episode of Dave's Gone By on this yesterday quiz, because it is, of course, order. Well done. And why was that in the news?
Somebody had an executive order about something?
No, you kind of had it before. It was anybody else? I mean, it may not have been his most famous
Pizza order.
credit.
Oh no.
No, it was Paul Sorvino, because not only was he in Goodfellas, he was on like the second and
right.
Law and Order.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a
stretch.
Well, that is now that better now be your favorite thing, because you just got 3 out of 3 on that.
Yeah, that was great, David.
Aside from winning the game, you got 3 out
I
of 3.
saw right away it had to be. I wasn't sure about purchase, but then I realized purchase order.
And gag order
Excellent.
Very good.
So we have one more question in the regular round, and then just for funsies, our weekly time.
Yeah, talk about futile effort. Okay, give me my futile effort question. Come on. My exercise in
You do this, Leslie.
Let's go.
On this program, we have a feudal system that I follow. So here we go. Leslie Hoban, like the year was 1980. So on July 30th, 1980. Oh, it's a new day for the New Hebrides. The island declares its independence from Great Britain and is renamed. This is not for the points, but anybody know what they renamed it?
Air.
Huh?
Didn't they name it Air? New Hebrides is Scotland, right?
No.
It's Ireland?
Old Hebrides?
Northern Ireland?
No, it's not even that in that region really. It's Hebrides is renamed Vanuatu. So very different, very, very different area.
Really?
Which happens to mean independent home. That is the literal meaning of Vanuatu. So according to tourismvanuatu.com, which I know you check frequently, which of these is false about Vanuatu?
Since I have no idea what it even is at this point,
So
I have a great chance of getting this one. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. A, according to island cannibal tradition, cooking a human takes 3 to 5 hours. B, Vanuatu's constitution says that income tax may be collected only every other year and may not be raised more than once every 10 years. C, Vanuatu invented bungee jumping. Or D, one Vanuatu tribal village spent years worshipping a surprising deity, England's Prince Philip.
Oh.
Wow.
One is true or one is false?
One is false.
Only one of these is false. The others are true.
Wow. I want it to be the cannibal one. I think that's a terrific one.
Well, some of the true.
And is that medium or well done? I don't know. How does that go?
You should see where they put the thermometer.
Yeah, I can imagine that they would have invented bungee jumping because there are all these tall mountains and things probably to get down to the bottom or something. That could have been done with springy branches. I can see that being done in a Tarzan movie now, even as I speak. I'm going to say they worship Prince Philip. What the hell?
And you're saying that is true or not true?
I'm saying it's true. He was a tall hunk of beef or whatever.
One of them is false.
But we're looking for the false.
Oh, sorry, God in heaven. All right. That a human being takes 3 to 5 hours because it depends on the size of the human being and the I don't know. Yeah, I'll go with A. A is false.
That's your final answer?
We haven't had a C.
That's true.
That's true. All right.
And C is the one I'm pretty sure is true. So I'm going to go with A anyway.
You're going with A. According to island cannibal tradition, cooking a human takes 3 to 5 hours is not true.
Yeah.
Takes a lot longer. Well, honestly, ever since I bought a crock pot a couple of years ago, I've discovered it takes about 3 to 5 years to. It doesn't really depend. Even if it's a big
hours, not years. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, 3 to 5 hours. You can, a child is a little less. Child is about 2.5, but so you can cook a pretty big guy.
So that's not the false one. Okay.
I'm just vamping here. Let me roll the die.
But you just said to cook a child?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, that reminds me that they did this. I was just watching a Warner Brothers cartoon with the first appearance of Witch Hazel when she is going to cook up Hansel and Gretel, and she opens a book that says recipes for children. And it had like, smorgasbord, children chops, kitty kippers.
Oh, I love smorgasbord. That's brilliant.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Leslie did not get that question right, but Vicki, you have a chance to. So you can tie Leslie just for bragging rights for second place if you get this correct.
Well, I've got 4 points right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You already have second place.
Yeah, I'm the one with no points. I got 2 points. I got nothing.
So it's bungee jumping, Prince Philip,
right?
And what's
or the taxes?
Oh, the taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bungee jumping, Prince Philip. I'm gonna say taxes.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
But you don't live in Texas. You live in Chicago. However, you do get 2 points. Quade, well done. 6 points for Vicki. And here's the deal. Vanuatu has no income tax.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, they don't even bother with it.
Yeah.
And the bungee, Leslie, you were correct. As part of their annual yam harvest, men would tie their legs to vines and dive straight down.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Tough to pick yams that way, but I guess they do. And when Prince what's his name?
Prince Philip
died, they held a huge ceremony, and now they're considering transferring their religious allegiance to Prince Charles.
Oh.
Don't figure. You never know.
I'm sure he'll be happy to hear it. I mean, literally, I'm not making a joke here. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear it.
Yeah, no. This is amazing. Prince Philip sent them an autographed photo, and it became like a shrine object to these people.
It's a cookbook. Oh, no.
Here's how we
talk about a punchline that everybody knows. That's great, Vicki. That's great.
I mean, they pulled Diana from the car and made her into like riblets or something. Anyway, here is our tiebreaker question, even though we don't have a tie, even though David Sheward is the victor, free and clear on this year's episode.
David, don't let me forget. I have to ask you something before we get off the air, okay?
All right.
On the air, sure. Ask away. But first, question.
Okay.
Or to quote Gilbert Gottfried, but first, Ugu. Here we go. This is just a right-in answer. It's not a multiple choice. And the year was 1958. Born today in... Are we keeping you up, David? Born today in Kent, England, is this singer-songwriter whose career started by scaling the heights of Wuthering Heights and has continued in recent decades with such demanding albums as Ariel and 50 Words for Snow. Name this legendary artist who is not afraid to dwell in the sensual world.
Not afraid to dwell where?
In the sensual world.
Born in 1958.
58.
In Kent, England.
Correct. I'll read the question again before we do the three.
And is still living.
That's the question, but...
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an artist. Wuthering Heights is a good clue, although I have nothing written on my paper yet.
Oh, okay.
So, not that good of a clue. Kent, England, 1958. Thinking out loud. I'm helping all of us.
All right. Okay. All right.
1958.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I'll wait till you all have written your answers.
Yeah.
Wait, give me 1 second, because I have two very different thoughts here. One living and one dead, and that's why I'm not sure which is which.
Well, a good thought.
You want me to say it out loud? Sorry.
No. It's just thinking music. Dum 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 dum. Do you they made Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings like halvesies for the year?
Yeah.
They're both fine. I like Ken Jennings better, but
fine.
They're both fine.
But when she's on, they say the host of Jeopardy. But when he comes on, they say hosting Jeopardy.
So a fine distinction.
Yeah.
So it'll be curious to see if they change his introduction.
They ought to. Carrying Jeopardy over the threshold is hoisting Jeopardy. That'd be cool. Hoisting Jeopardy today. Yeah. All right, Leslie, how are we doing?
Well, I just have to decide did you say whether he was dead or alive, or the person was dead or alive?
That is not in the clue.
He didn't say.
You're not going to say. All right. Okay.
No, that's not in the question.
Okay. All right. All right. I got somebody, but I don't think it's right.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read the question again, and then I'll give a 3, 2, 1, and then you can hold your paper to the camera. The year was 1958. Born today in Kent, England, is this singer-songwriter whose career started by skating the heights of Wuthering Heights and has continued in recent decades with such demanding albums as Ariel and 50 Words for Snow. Name this legendary artist who's not afraid to dwell in the sensual world. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
I put Elton John.
David Bowie. I have Morrissey or Agnes.
Elton John.
That was my other choice, was Elton John, but I thought I'd go with Bowie.
And Elton John, and we've got. Oh man. Okay. Papers down. Let me see if I can get more clues. Because I've stumped the panel on this one. It's a little tough one. Maybe for English, it would be second nature to know this one. How about someone who sang a duet or two with Peter Gabriel? How about someone who is, well, you're in reality here. You're not dreaming, Gesundheit. You're not dreaming, whether now or never forever.
I don't know.
No, not feeling it. Okay. Well, I guess trying to answer this question, you are running up that hill with some problem.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't think, but that's a good clue.
I don't know.
I think I have to go there, but what? So you?
Yeah. Oh, I can't think. It's in my head, but I can't put it together quickly enough. What is it?
We were talking before about beavers. What's another name? No, let's not go there. Let's see. 2-time presidents.
Adams.
Grover Cleveland.
Cleveland.
What was that?
Grover Cleveland.
Grover Cleveland.
Leslie.
Bush.
Not Grover Cleveland. Oh wow.
Clinton.
Other than Kate Bush, I don't know anybody named Bush.
Hello.
Oh, it was Kate Bush?
Yes, it was Kate Bush.
I was thinking of a man for some reason. I never thought of a woman. Oh.
Yeah. Kate
I don't know who Kate. I don't know anything about Kate Bush.
And it's her song.
Thought Kate Bush was Canadian. I didn't think she was English. So
English.
Isn't it her song that's on Stranger Things?
Right. She was in the news again because they used, I think, Running Up That Hill.
Yeah.
In Stranger.
I never watched Stranger Things. I always thought Kate Bush was Canadian. So that, and I was thinking of guys. I was not thinking of women.
Well, there, yeah.
But get this, Kate Bush owns that song 100%. She owns the publishing rights. She owns the copyright. She owns everything about it. So
good for her.
When they put,
but she doesn't have to re-record it.
It's not like Taylor Swift. She's got everything.
No Beyonce clues today. No Beyonce clues today after Beyonce owned everything this week.
Oh, and the controversy about her sampling, right?
She can pay it off. It's like, here's $12 million. Thank you for giving me 4 seconds of your song.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if I had $4 million, I would give it to David Sheward today because he is the champion of our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz here on Dave's Gone By with Vicki with 6 points. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
You got on the board. You had 2 points also.
So, Vicki, are you the person in Illinois who won the $1 billion lottery last night?
I'm not allowed to say.
So let me ask before I let you guys go. Of course, I've got to let you speak your piece about what you guys are doing. I mean, you kind of talked about it before, but Vicki, you have late night catechism in a suburb of Illinois today. So
today, but we're also at the theater, so we're at the greenhouse, and I've extended my game show to 3 weeks to the end of August, to August 28th. Because we're starting to, people are starting to hear about it and get tickets and be in the audience.
They watch this show, that's why.
They watch this show. They heard about, are you smarter than your 8th grade nun?
I should get like 20%. No, 25. But are you smarter than your 8th grade nun, right?
Right, exactly. And we are having such a lot of fun with it.
It's at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago. As is, of course, Late Night Catechism, which you can go see. And then what suburb were you going to be with another catechism tonight?
We're in Downers Grove, which is a suburb of Chicago. They're doing it as a fundraiser for the parish.
Oh, so, Downers Grove? Is that where everybody gets together and is depressed?
Yeah, Upper Uppers is next door.
I think Phillips wrote a comedy song about Downers Grove. I like to shop in downtown Downers Grove. They used to play on Dr. Demento, so you might want to use that as your pre-show music.
Dr. Demento.
And didn't Thornton Wilder write a play about that called Our Depressed Town?
Our Down.
It was the sequel, but it never got produced.
Yeah.
So everybody,
you know how hard it is to get a sequel produced, really.
Vicki. Nunsforfun.com.
Nunsforfun.com. NUNS, the number 4, fun.com.
Wait, I missed that. What?
NUNS, nuns, the number 4, fun.com.
And also the Greenhouse is a website too if people want to buy tickets for.
It does. They're changing over their ticketing system. They're on Thundertix and they're going to Ovation, if anyone knows Ovation.
For that.
It's going
Ovation is Theater Mania runs Ovation, or it used to.
It's been around for a while.
It's been long, but it's going to screw up with my ticket. People are going to have to call in to get tickets instead of going online. So.
And since it's a woman-produced show, there's also ovulation tickets, just so you know. But yeah, that's where they should do no eggs. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop that now. And I'm going to go right to Leslie Hoban Blake and ask you, you said you're very busy with Charlie's show, Two on the Aisle this week. How's that going?
Well, it's Charlie's and my show now because I am officially co-producer, etc. on it. But yes, our show, which is now this week being called Two on the Aisle +1 because we have so many not me's up there reviewing. So today you'll be happy to hear this coming Thursday, which is our regular screening time for our M&N show. We'll have Hamlet with Charles Wright, Epiphany with Diane Snyder, and Bedwetter with, ta-da, David Lefkowitz.
Oh, nice.
So those are the 3 shows.
I shot like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, okay, cool, great.
Well, but it's also up online, I think, is it not? Is it not on YouTube?
I'm sure it is, but I know it was finally
on the show. Look, David, Charlie has got the job, and I don't get in the way. I do it whenever he's ready to do it. And then we also taped a review of Kite Runner with my friend Perry Gaffney, who is just had a reading of her new play. Perry Gaffney is an she was at my birthday party. She's an actress. She was in Skeleton Crew, not on Broadway, but she was on the road company of Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Anyway, before we leave, David Sheward, would you like to come? Are you going to go see Butcher Boy at the IRT?
I don't know. I'm going out of town next week.
Oh. You can't come. You can't do it when you come back.
It depends on my schedule.
Tell me what you're going to see. I'll find out if there's something that you can mutually.
At the moment, I mean, the last thing I saw was Oresteia.
He's already got somebody for the Oresteia. I thought of Butcher Boy because I can't see it. Did you see Frank Pig Says Hello, either of you, back in the day at the Irish Rep?
What?
Frank Pig Says Hello.
No.
A regular non-musical version of that wonderful book by Patrick McCabe.
Oh,
it was stunning. It was, and I looked forward to this so much. Anyway, all right. I was going to ask you to do it, but if you're not available, you're not available. So
I think I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess for you won't be able to meet.
But and then the other thing, David, was Charlie wanted to know if you were interested in doing cartoon trivia with him.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know. He's going to have to set it up. Dave, are you well enough versed to do it? I'm not. No, neither am I. I wouldn't even.
What is this, like a thing like this, a video thing like this? Or?
I don't know what it's going to be, hon. He asked me to ask you. I'm asking.
Okay, sure. Yeah, sure.
He knows of your interest. Cartoon trivia.
Oh, I love that. That sounds great.
No, about it. You want to read it?
No, but cartoons, like cartoons.
Yeah, cartoons. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Buster Keaton documentaries just because I love Buster Keaton. And somebody was interviewed who said that the reason Buster Keaton started to fall out of favor, not that he ever did 100%, but drinking is one issue. Yes, of course. But it's because cartoons came in. And so they took over a lot of what he was doing.
Of the slapstick physical.
But the fact that a human being is doing the same thing that a cartoon is doing to
me. Sure. But Chuck Jones said Chuck Jones said he based a lot of his cartoon stuff on Buster Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
Buster Keaton.
I saw that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I saw that documentary too.
I went to a place called the Poster Gallery, which is on it's a museum, the Poster Museum, on 23rd Street, right off 6th Avenue, going west. Very tiny but very beautiful museum, privately owned. It doesn't require it's a free. There's no admission. And this month they are showing Russian posters, and they're all that kind of angular, the avant-garde Russian posters. And the only one of them that's of an American film is Buster Keaton's The General.
Yeah.
Because he was so universal. I mean, the only other one would have been Charlie Chaplin. Those two were the only two that were that universally recognizable. So I think
the irony is that The General, I think, was not a commercial hit at the time. I think, or am I wrong about that? It almost
because it was a thoughtful piece. It wasn't just a joke. It was actually a thoughtful piece about the Civil War. If you think about it.
And also that James Mason bought and lived in Buster Keaton's house and found canisters of films that were stored in a vault. Some of them starting to decay, and the only existing copy of the Buster Keaton film, The Boat, which was a two-reeler, was found there, and an almost pristine copy of The General.
Oh, wonderful!
Wow. So, do any of you remember the film The Loved One, based on the Stephen Waugh book?
Sure.
Okay, so I watched it yesterday. It's a compendium of every known actor from the 1960s, including Liberace. And yes, I know, I didn't remember any of that because at the time I didn't even like the film. Now I think it's incredible. And of course it stars Robert Morse.
Yes, and were you watching it because he died recently?
No, I was watching it because I happened to tape it off TCM at some point. And I'm going through the things I taped to try to get them out of the cache because I can't tape anything else because it's full.
What's a really interesting scene in that film is between Margaret Leighton and Milton Berle.
Again, everybody was in that film.
And it was directed by Tony Richardson, wasn't it?
Indeed, it was. Yes. Yes.
Is it true what they say about Milton Berle?
Everybody said so. Everybody said so.
How would we know?
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
I would give the Tallulah Bankhead answer about something, but I won't.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Someone asked if somebody else was gay, and she said, "Well, you never blanked my blank."
You can say it, but
well, you know what? I'm not going to say it.
No, you don't have to.
Whatever could he mean? Whatever did she mean by that?
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, David Sheward, I know you've been saying you reviewed your style. You're working on your review. But
I'm working
this past week that we can read.
Oh well, I on the David desk and on Theater Life, there's some updates on what's going on in the news with Broadway. and I wrote a piece for the David Desk, a short piece on the ending of the ending of season 1 of the January 6th committee. And, is this, and comparing, and they did it in the Times also, reviewing it as if it were a miniseries, and the fact that it's fighting Trump with a mini-series narrative. He's lived a reality series. The whole Trump thing is like a reality series. And so the committee is fighting him on his own term by presenting it like a reality series and saying, this is, we've been living in this fiction, this fake, quote, reality series that Trump has been imposing on us. And we're still living under, even though he's not president anymore, we're still living under it. And the committee is saying, the committee presentation was saying, this is our narrative. We're presenting it like a miniseries with each hearing being heroes and villains. And we even have a cliffhanger. The last hearing of the cliffhanger is what were on those texts for the Secret Service. Right. And if nothing else, the committee has served its purpose to damage Trump enough so that he won't be president again. I hope that's
hopefully.
I hope that's what happens.
I mean, I don't know if you saw, this was the biggest shock of the week for me. I don't know if you saw the New York Post. No, that was a big of a, Manchin's his own, whether you hate him, love him, whatever. He's his own man, and he's going to say, I feel like this, and this is how I'm going to vote.
No, he's the coal industry's man. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
Well, he was, until this week, But
anyway, go ahead.
Should read the New York Post.
Yes, the editorial.
What a shockaroo! I mean,
about women, the one about women.
About Trump.
I didn't see it. What's tell us?
Should never be president again. The New York
Post. He should.
Wow.
Well, you didn't see this. This is big news. Both the Post.
I don't read the Post, but go ahead.
Well, if you look at social media, you don't have to read the Post. But anyway, both the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal, both owned by Rupert Murdoch, came out with editorials saying, due to Trump's inaction, whether or not, whatever you think of Trump, whether you agree or disagree with his policies, whether or not you think he was criminally liable, whether or not he instigated the insurrection, he should do the fact that he sat for 3 hours and did nothing while the Capitol was being breached and our democracy was being challenged and violated and everything. He did nothing. So that says he should not be president again. That's in both the Post and the Wall Street Journal.
Very strong.
I'll go back and I'll read them. Thank you for pointing it out.
Eventually, Fox News is going to do the same thing. Eventually, they're going to say,
but this Fox News is not the same as Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity.
I'm saying eventually they're going to have.
They'll have to leave that.
Eventually, they'll say. I think eventually they'll say, we don't like it. We think Trump is wonderful. We kiss his feet. But he shouldn't be president again because if he tries to be president, we'll lose. Eventually,
that's the cynical. That's how I felt about this. I read the Post story, and first I was like, well, okay, fine, they get it. And then I'm like, no, they're saying this because they kind of realize they need a younger candidate.
Not just younger. It doesn't matter if he's younger or older. It's just another person.
A different
person. Yeah, I mean, Trump will be in his 80s, just like Biden is.
That's got nothing to do with it.
I think
that's got nothing.
Won't run again. Trump won't run again, but they're making sure.
You realize if the Republicans run a black woman, they'd win.
Maybe. You mean like Nikki Haley? I mean a woman of color.
Yes,
maybe.
A woman of color.
Yeah.
And Nikki Haley would not be the worst choice in the world. I don't like her particularly, but she's better than a lot of other people who are in that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think that. And like they're begging Trump not to make his announcement before the midterms.
Oh, interesting.
Well, he has to finish counting the money, the Saudi money for his Buckminster PGA tour, PGA knockoff tour. Yeah.
Now, is that where his wife is buried, or she's buried at the one in Florida?
I thought they shot her out of a cannon, a gold cannon.
I think she's buried at some golf course or something.
I just wonder how much money Saudi Arabia would have to pay me to forgive them for 9/11. It would be a lot. But there's probably, if everybody has a price, and I'd be like, 18 million, no, 31 million.
His price is a lot lower than you would think these days.
Whatever. He'll take whatever he can get.
That's right.
Well, I take you guys any week of the year, every week of the
year.
year.
Are you paying us in Bitcoin this week, or are we going to get real money?
That's right. Yes, exactly.
In potatoes, my dear.
Of course. So, look, see, this is for all those floods and rainstorms, I think, in the southeast.
I thought it was a wedding veil. I didn't realize it was a shower
Yeah, it does look
cap.
like
I
that.
thought it was a wedding veil.
Shower thing. He's keeping dry, so Potato's doing well. It's great to see you guys doing really, really well. Everybody go see Vicki shows at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago this weekend. Nungsforfun.com is the place to go. Everybody read David Sheward in theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, and, of course, his blog, The David Desk. And everybody watch Leslie Hoban Blake with our friend Charlie Gross on the TV show, well, the video podcast and TV show on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, Two on the Aisle. There's also a YouTube channel where you can watch tons of episodes of Two on the Aisle. It's the Two on the Aisle channel. Guys, have a fantastic week. Once again, I'm not sure I'll be doing the show, and David's not sure if he'll be on the show.
I'm not sure if I'll be here.
I'll keep you posted. You keep us posted.
All right.
I will be here because we were trying to make a date for my kids to come down for my birthday, which is in the beginning of August. So I went through the temperature for the month. It's going to be the hottest friggin' August you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And next weekend, it's my birthday is going to hit 100 degrees. Real time. The only time during the month, the real field temperature will be 100. It's going to be a scorcher.
Yeah. Time to go underground. Start living underground.
I don't leave my apartment. I live in a building with a pool. So I go to the pool, in a big nice room or with a view of the river. I don't need to go anywhere except to the corner to get food sometimes.
Well,
you can get that delivered too.
Yeah, I hope you all stay healthy. I hope I do.
Stay cool.
I'll certainly see you all
stay
very
cool.
soon playing the game.
All right, Dave. You stay safe too.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a great week, and thanks for playing the Today Yesterday Trivia Quiz here on Dave's Gone By. It is.
What was the answer they wrote? I didn't catch that one.
What answer? What do you mean?
That they wrote down, like they wrote.
Oh, it was pretty much for the final question, for the tiebreaker question. The correct answer was Kate Bush, but the answers that I got were two people who had Elton John.
Oh wow!
Pretty good answer, and then we also had. I think Elton's older than being born in 1958, and then we also had. Well, David wrote Agnes Moorehead.
Oh, nice.
And Leslie also wrote David Bowie, which again, I think Bowie was a little bit older. He would have been.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he was already putting out singles in the mid-60s.
Right. I just looked up. It was just Christy wrote, but no date.
Oh, no, Steve. No, Steven this week. Steve. He's mad I didn't get to call him back after he left a message last week.
He's probably, well, it's good because I couldn't attract him, so.
Yeah, no. How are you feeling, babe? I know you're under the weather still.
No, it's just it's a little bit of like motion sick. I can't. There's a tipping point in cars when I can't do it, and I think it's related to like the migraine. I think that now I don't have aura, but I get more vertigo with the headache. It's like the new combo, but.
Maybe if we get a car, we'll get like we have a top down kind of a thing. Would that make it?
I think it's just maybe I have to wear the C bands, or maybe it can't be long periods. Like 4 hours is a lot, like up to an hour. But
well, we had a break in the middle there, but still, it's not.
It doesn't help.
Well, gotta figure out how to deal with that.
Maybe when you're off the show, I can get foodies.
Well, yeah, but we still have more show to do here.
You didn't do Greeley Crabs.
No, I mean, Sabin, we're not gonna do a big dictionary this week because we're already 15 minutes to the end of the show.
If you give me the dictionary, I could do it. I just can't.
I can. Okay. We'll run late if we do.
So why don't you open the book and I'll tell you where to stop.
Okay, I shouldn't have mentioned it. Now we're gonna do it. So we have Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We did our limerick, but I'm gonna bring this book over to my wife.
Okay.
This is the concise edition of the.
Did you tell them that Joey Chestnuts ate like 27 chicken wings or some sort of his?
Yeah, Joey Chestnut's back out there eating competitive. He wants to renegotiate his deal with Nathan's. I think he wants.
I don't get it.
His contract with Nathan's, I think, ends this year.
Has a contract with them?
Something like that.
To do what? To eat the hot dogs?
Yeah, to take part in the competition.
Oh.
And considering what he has brought to the sport, he's probably going to add like an extra decimal place to whatever he gets.
Russian people, like the Russian athletes, they train in the womb, to be like a competitor.
So suddenly we see him all over the place, eating and thinking other things, and floating the idea of a rematch with Kobayashi, who hasn't been, you know.
Why is he banned? Kobayashi?
Yeah, Kobayashi either banned himself or they refuse to let him eat at Nathan's. So he's saying, hey, this could happen. We could have a rematch with Kobayashi because after this year, Nathan's doesn't own me. So it gets real interesting. So here we go. Here's an actual real dictionary from the 1960s, I think it is. Concise Dictionary of the American Language, generally edited by David B. Guralnick, and this most recent edition is 1966 copyright. So that's the most recent version of this. A lot of old words in here, because it should be the Western. At this point, we should cross this out and just call it the Old World Dictionary. But I'm going to bring this over to my wonderful wife, Joyce, and she's going to flip. And she's going to flip over it. And then she's going to flip the pages. She'll put her finger down randomly on a page.
I'm prepared, David.
She's got her fingers going. She's dexterous. And whatever that word is, I have to talk about it for about 3 to 5 minutes. Whatever pops into my head, some anecdote, some thought. It's called Dave's Big Dictionary. I'm going to bring this over right now. I'm ceremonially bringing the book to my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. She's going to flip through it. She's doing it. I promise you. Oh, that was quick.
No, it's a letter.
She put her name down, or finger down on a letter. A letter doesn't. Well, A is a word. But all right, try again.
What's this? I can't read it.
All right. Keep your finger there. Is it your thumb or this finger? It's this finger. This finger has landed, and I think you take another proper noun. Hold on. Let me see what it is. What the hell is this? Why did you put your finger down on here?
It's an M word, right?
It's a capital M. Oh. Whoa.
What is it?
This is the only freaking dictionary I know that has names in it along with words. So you put your finger down on Dmitri Ivanovich Mendeleev.
Of course.
The Russian chemist, also spelled Mendeleev. Really? 1834 to 1907, chemist, and created Mendeleev's law, the periodic law. Was he the periodic table? I thought he was. No, it's Watson, or who did the genetic thing with the white,
Oh, that's DNA.
Yeah, and the male gives this, and it's a boy or a girl. Who is that?
I don't know.
Like if you have XX or XXY, the boxes. I used to love that. But that's not this. This is Mendeleev, the chemist, and the periodic law. Oh, my God. All right, well, Dmitri Ivanovich Mendeleev, I will have to speak about him.
You know how to pronounce Russian. That's good.
That's helpful. Well, I'm Russian blood. I'm 98% Ashkenazic Jewish Russian. Yeah. Dmitri Mendeleev. So somehow, while I'm doing Gritty Crimes in Old Times, I'm going to have to Google who the hell. I'm going to do it right now. Just so I know who he was. Mendeleev.
I like to do tap dancing.
There we go. Yeah, Mendeleev.
That's what I heard.
Let's see if it'll bring me anything. Oh, there he is. Oh, he had a nice beard.
Oh, good.
I'll say that. Russian chemist. Hello.
You can't assume he was gay.
All right. What about him, says Wiki. Best known for formulating the periodic law and creating a far-sighted version of the periodic table.
Wow.
So he used the periodic law not only to correct then accepted properties of known elements, such as valence and atomic rate of uranium, but also to predict the properties of 3 elements yet to be discovered. So major guy,
Yes.
and I guess I can talk about the periodic table. So our Dave's Big Dictionary segment will be about Dmitri
I think you're thinking
Mendeleev.
of Mendeleev genetics. That's the other one.
Okay. We'll hold off on that. I'll get to it, but first, are you feeling a little bit criminally oriented?
I am. I don't have my noisemaker. So
I can bring them to you when I play the the intro music for a segment that we've been doing for a long time now that is based on items that are in the Greeley, Colorado newspaper called the Greeley Tribune. Here's the cover that we always show. Real newspaper, real news. But one of the things that they do every week is have 2 columns based on real things, but they're intentionally funny. So when phone calls come into the local police department of people noticing weird, crazy things happening in the neighborhood, the funniest ones are compiled by the Greeley Tribune and put in a column called Cop Log. And then we have our friend Mike Peters at the Trib, and he goes through the newspapers back in the early, well, literally 1922, 100 years ago, and finds the strangest, oddest things that were in the paper 100 years ago, quite literally. We mix them up and we put them both together in a segment that we do every week called Greeley Crimes and Old Times, and it goes like this. Whoops. It goes like this if I turn the sound up. Now let's do it. Greeley Crimes, Old Times, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Greeley Crimes, Old Times. I don't know where the bell is for the phone calls. You might have to extemporize that. Oh yeah, you can do that. You can do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So here now the fun begins. It's time. So the recent ones, the recent items, literally happened a week or 2 or 3 weeks ago. In northern Colorado, phone calls came into the police department from people having complaints or having worries about the neighborhood. For example, a caller, yeah, near 29th Street. Oh, I'm sure they sent like several squad cars for this. The caller said 3 cows were walking around in the hospital parking lot. Isn't that sweet? Maybe they were blowing their horns.
Was it the veterinary hospital or
no? On 29th Street, I think it's just a human. Maybe that they had the wrong directions. Maybe they had to be guided to the vet.
Go to CSU before college.
Yeah, I know. So I like that. I guess when you have cows in the parking lot, there's a lot at stake.
That's not what I heard.
Oh, good. Joy's feeling better. She's starting to make the puns now.
I need my heating.
That's very good. But well done. All right, we have another crime, though. A woman... Joyce is getting her heating pad set up here. A woman on 15th Street said teens were climbing on top of the garage behind her house and throwing eggs at her.
Why?
No reason why. Usually there is a reason why, but sometimes there's just no reason. Just because she's got...
requires some sort of explanation, right?
Well, maybe the kids were just yoking.
Don't egg them on, David.
Well, I would have driven them to the Shell station. All white.
Aww.
I do the same egg puns every single week. Just because my brain is scrambled. Okay, here we go. Here's another...
It's not fried.
Oh, here's another Greeley crime. A woman... Oh, hold on. Yeah, no. So this woman is on 6th Street. She reported waking up to a man sleeping on her couch. She said he was possibly on drugs and hard of hearing, and he was confused about his whereabouts.
That sounds like a party.
Yeah. In other Joe Biden news, no, just kidding.
God bless him if he could do all those 3 things. That's a lot.
Sleep on her couch, and be on drugs, and be deaf. I wonder how he makes a drug deal then. 3 joints.
He probably went to a concert. But how did he get on her couch?
This I don't understand. How people just kind of... Back in the day, people left their doors open. I guess they still sometimes do. By the way, there was also a caller on 35th Avenue who said that a man A man wearing a Home of the Brave shirt and cross necklaces with a really severe flat top haircut was refusing to leave. I think that might be in a store somewhere on 35th Avenue. But, you know, that really severe flat top haircut.
What does that even mean?
I mean, well, remember George and Harold from Captain Underpants? The blonde white kid? Or no, it's the other kid. Actually, it's the black kid.
But that's a fade.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, he wouldn't fade away. He wouldn't leave. So, a caller, you'll know this. A caller on Reservoir Road. Remember Reservoir Road? Caller on Reservoir Road said she was in active labor and needed to leave the house. But she was watching Dave's Gone By at the time. No, she was, in labor, refused and needed to leave the house, but she was afraid to go outside because a man with a hospital band on his hand was leaning on her garage. What? Like, is this someone who's supposed to take her? Is it a fellow patient?
I don't know,
Maybe it's her baby. Maybe she fell asleep, it came out of her, and there he was.
And he went to the hospital, got a band, and came back. That's a good kid.
Big baby. Big baby. And unfortunately, his wristwatch tore up her uterus. But otherwise, it was a fine birth.
Oh, the cigarette.
Oh. Let's do some old times. Now, these are things that were in the Greeley Tribune newspaper. It was called the Tribune Republican back then. In 1922, little Elton Miller was taken to a Denver eye doctor for an exam. Well, how did he have his problem? He was injured when a neighbor boy threw a piece of concrete at him and hit him in the eye. Have you ever seen a piece of concrete that wasn't like, a giant slab?
It must have been Atlas.
I know. That's a neighbor. I got him right in the eyeball there. Little Elton Miller. Well, I hope he was okay.
Now he's a pitcher for the Mets.
Oh, well, that cemented his reputation. Ha, 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 ha. I make so many abstract jokes that it's great to have one that's concrete. Wow, oh, you're rocking it there. The United States Geological Society has just issued a large volume of work studying the story that a Y-shaped stick carried with the point down will surge and indicate whether a successful well can be dug. The society said that story is a myth. Because you've seen that around with the people with the wooden thing and the Y thing. Apparently it's not true. I wonder how many thousands of tax dollars they spent trying to study whether that is an actual thing. I don't know. I don't even get it up when I'm wearing Y-front jeans. I don't even know what that means. Okay, I'll move on.
I don't know if they exist, but that sounds like a good one.
Here's now, back in the day, newspapers would put in little cute, catchy editorial-ish things to go along with the real news stories. So says the Tribune, that look on a man's face when a sympathetic woman says she understands him is caused by the hidden fear in him that maybe she does understand him. That's fairly profound back in the, for 1922, that's a pretty profound statement for the newspaper. And true to this day, I gotta tell you. Hey, the Weld County Grand Old Party has been told to get rid of, quote, their deadwoods, has-beens, and parlor socialists if they want to do well in the next election. More things change, right? Get rid of your rhino communists. Get them out of there.
Everybody wants to be king.
Hey, by the way, it is noon. I almost said midnight. It is noon Eastern time here in the Daverhood, and you are watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream, featuring me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and wonderful wife, Joyce, and the wonderful guests we have on the show. It's our 860th episode called Merry Land. David Sheward won our Today Yesterday trivia quiz opposite Leslie Hoban Blake and Vicki Quade. We're still here doing the weekly Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Then I'll talk about Dmitri Mendeleev for a moment or two, and then we'll call it an episode. So let's do a little bit more of Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Let's let's go elsewhere, though, for a story. Because in Greeley Crimes and Old Times, we sometimes reach away from northern Colorado for some weird story in the news. This comes to us from the Daily Beast, and it's from Richmond, Virginia. Have you ever heard of this band? The band, I don't know, I think it's pronounced Gwar. Gwar, all capital letters. You heard of them? Okay. There has never been, nor will there ever be, anyone like Gwar, the metal band hailing from Richmond, Virginia. They dress up as space barbarians, they act out all manner of onstage obscenity, and they spew audiences with fake blood and semen. And by the way, they don't say fake blood and fake semen, so it's not 100% clear. Anyway, now in their fourth decade, their legacy of gonzo anti-establishment satire, pornographic pyrotechnics, gory tongue-in-cheek violence, and absurdist mania are lovingly celebrated in the new documentary, This is Gwar. Longtime band member Danielle Stampy, a.k.a. Slymenstra Hyman, that was going to be my stage name, by the way, Slymenstra Hyman, I believe so, refers to the band as, quote, a joke with no punchline. That's basically this show's show. The band was formed when two punk musicians, including one in the band Slave Piggy, and that band, by the way, would shower audiences from a piñata of candy, quarters, and cat shit. How'd you like to be in the audience for that? It's like, oh, they're going to break the piñata now. Oh, I wonder if I get a quarter. I put in the... Oh, maybe I'll get some candy. Oh, is this candy or cat shit? Let me check. I mean, just genius. Just genius. Anyway, so some band members came from Slave Piggy. The founder of Gwar died from a drug overdose, but amidst many personnel changes, the band soldiers on, sharing its overarching mythos about the band as alien savages hell-bent on mayhem and destruction. At this point, this is still from the Daily Beast story, one should mention that Gwar is as profane, disgusting, and outlandish as they come, headlined by leader Odorous Urungus. I make this up not. Odorous Urungus, a loudmouthed Goliath with a huge goo-spewing cuttlefish hanging from his crotch. Yes, they were, I didn't realize this, they were Beavis and Butthead's favorite band, and they were Grammy nominated for their movie, Phallus in Wonderland. Weird Al Yankovic has said about Gwar, if you're gonna put on a show, put on a show. And they do. Anecdotes in the new film include guitarist Pete Lee getting shot, nearly dying, and then openly performing with a colostomy bag on his stick. Oh my God! I'll tell you this. My dad had a colostomy bag. He never performed in rock and roll doing it. No. He had it under his shirt. Wasn't particularly open. You know, the stoma was. My mom dealt with it. The nurse dealt with it. He was not up there playing hard metal. The only hard metal was his wheelchair. So, all credit to Pete Lee. I got to see this movie. You know, we watched the Metallica movie over again. This has nothing on Gwar. Their little tips, their little psychological spats. Yeah, nothing on a guy getting shot and having to like lift his colostomy bag over the snare drum. Oh my goodness. Yes. let's get back to some Greeley crimes and old times, and then we'll end the segment for the week. Want to let you know, I do really want to let you know, in criminality, a week or so ago in Greeley, Colorado, a caller on 11th Avenue reported that a man had a rifle in the pharmacy store parking lot. Well, I just say get used to it in post-Supreme Court America. Meanwhile, a woman on North Brisbane Avenue reported a strange package that said ambient with no postal service was delivered to her house. I think it's a Christmas gift from Brian Eno, quite honestly.
Oh, like the music.
Who knows? And meanwhile, a caller on 30th Street wanted to press charges against her roommates who got rid of all her belongings and moved to Nebraska. They didn't even take her belongings with her. They just like sold it probably or gave it to a thrift store. That's not nice. Let's do one more or two more old-timey things and this segment of Greeley Crimes and Old Times, thinking that she had a marriage license. A Greeley woman gave the license to a judge. Turns out it was a fishing license. The judge overlooked her error and married the couple anyway. The bride is also the same woman who gave away all of her children last year. Is that like, I don't know, that's absent-minded.
I don't think you could do that. How could you give away your children?
I mean, it's one thing to kind of forget your fishing license or leave the marriage license at home. Quite another to be like, we're giving out some furniture.
Yeah, we're having a yard sale. The 2-year-old, if you buy the 2-year-old, you get the infant.
Yeah. I wonder how unintentional that would be. But anywho, yeah, no, I think we're good. I think let's close that there. This being Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh, he was not.
I'm sure that you agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Oh.
Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Thank you, Groucho Marx. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is about 8 minutes after 12 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood on Dave's Gone By Live on this July 30th, 2022. I thank you so much for watching. We're not quite done with the program yet. We still have our Dave's Big Dick Shanary to wave around for you to where I will talk about a word. This is the second time you found a word that is a proper name.
They're people names. They're proper names of people.
So this particular name is Dmitri Mendeleev. I will get to that in a moment. But before I do, we haven't yet gone and spoken briefly about so many of the wonderful people who have appeared on this program
Given the updates.
in months and years past. What do we call that, babe? You know.
You shout out to Wendy and Fred who are now housing my staplers.
Oh. When they already have them?
I would just say that.
Okay, just a big shout out to our friends Friendly who have been on this program several times. Friendly are out in Colorado, and while I'm taking care of my own potatoes, Joyce has needed somebody else to take care of her many staplers, and they're
my stapler collection apparently.
Well, so that is very nice of them, and I think this binds us to them. In a way, yeah, because it's
like paper and staples.
Yeah, it's a little joke there. It's a little staple joke, little staple joke. Okay, I will remove myself from that in time to do what we like to call the Friends of the Daverhood. Whoa! Oh yeah! Get down! Get down! Hot pants. So a little bit of Mozart there. I always get punchy after 3 hours goes by. time for our friends of the Daverhood. These are people who were kind enough to appear on this program. Might have been 15 years ago, might have been 5 years ago, might have been 2 weeks ago. We like to keep tabs on them and let you know what they're doing. Just the way when you drive in the car and the Waze tells you that you're entering a new state or that someone's on the shoulder there, we like to tell you, hey, this is what happens or what is going on that you should know about with all these wonderful, glorious people who have been on the show. Let me lower the music down a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So, for example, I want to let you know that on August 2nd, just a couple of days away, Marcy Heisler and Zena Goldrich, they write musicals together. They are guest judges in Scott Coulter's cabaret competition that's taking place at Feinstein's 54 Below, and one of the singers who was competing was mentored by our friend Clea Blackhurst. So we get a 3-in-1 on that. That's happening this week, August 2nd. And then from August 4th through the 6th, a weekend show, Melissa Errico is going to be live at Feinstein's 54 Below. She's going to be there with Billy Stritch. So go absolutely see the lovely Melissa Errico. Reminding you that if you happen to be in Spain, go see Alice Ripley in person in a show called Barcelona. Is an immersive in-person staging of the Broadway Pulitzer winner and I think Tony winner Next to Normal. They've shortened it to about an hour. It's all about a housewife who's losing her mind, and so they've redone the whole thing. It's in an amphitheater in Barcelona. Alice Ripley, who won the Tony for the show, she's in it, and also our friend Adam Pascal as I think he's there by video also in some way. They're both taking part in Next to Normal. I want to let you know that Annie Golden is in Into the Woods on Broadway, and that show has just been extended. It was supposed to run to mid-August. Now it's running through October at the St. James Theater on Broadway. Letting you know that Katsura Sunshine's show called Rakugo, I think that just got extended as well, and that is playing off-Broadway at New World Stages. Seth Beeson Hirsch's review called Love Quirks is playing at the AMT Theater now through September 2nd. And let's not forget, Al Tapper just had his review of songs open, and that is going to be running a couple of weeks as well. So go to the AMT Theater, which is also being run by our friend Tony Sportiello. Want to let you know... Oh my God, Joyce is like talking in her sleep. What about Mendeleev?
What's going on with him? What's he up to?
What is Dmitri Mendeleev doing?
He's a friend of the neighborhood.
You know, I check on him, but only periodically. Table that thought. That was, come on. After 3 hours, that was pretty good. Okay. If you want to hear the very, very clever lyrics of Amanda Green, you can first of all get the cast album. The cast recording of Mr. Saturday Night has been released, but you can still see that Broadway show. It's playing through Labor Day weekend on Broadway at the Niederlander Theater on 41st Street. Reminding you that on Broadway, Christian Knoll is still in Dear Evan Hansen. That's playing through mid-September, and playing now through the first week of October, Come From Away, which is co-written by our friends Irene Sankoff and David Hine at the Schoenfeld Theater. Playing now, it says through September 24th, but they're just constantly extending anyway. Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano sing at Birdland. Go to birdlandjazz.com for tickets. On Broadway, Alan Menken wrote the music, of course, for Aladdin. That is at the New Amsterdam Theater. And speaking of Alan Menken, don't forget that they've revived Little Shop of Horrors off Broadway. That is at the West Side Theater, and it features our friend Stuart Zagnit playing Mr. Mushnick. Jim Caruso's cast party every Monday night at Birdland. StageBuddy.com is a website devoted to New York nightlife, and it's run by our great friend Evan Seplow. Dr. Demento posting his old Dr. Demento shows and new ones every week at drdemento.com. And also want to remind you, let's see, who else? One more. you can read reviews, theater reviews, by our friends Mary Shang Barnage out in Chicago, Willard Manis in Los Angeles, Ann Siegel in Milwaukee. All of them are at a website that I administer called TotalTheater.com. Check it out, TotalTheater.com. And reminding you I want to remind you about this. WBAI Radio. They just lost one of their, well, I guess what people call the triumvirate, because there was Steve Post, another fella, I'm forgetting the name, but Larry Josephson passed this week. These are not people who've been on my show, but there were people who were stalwarts of WBAI in the 60s and 70s and 80s, when it really was that whole Pacifica radio, very weird, special, out there station. But David Kenny is on there Sunday nights playing cabaret and show tune music and great American songbook music. His show is called Everything Old is New Again. It's Sunday evenings on WBAI Radio FM in New York, and of course streaming everywhere. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Yes, we're getting into the swim of things with Neville Mariner there. Get a little, okay. Anyway, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm going to, before I close the show, let me do one more segment. Let me read a little bit more about, I don't know what else there is to know about this guy. Dmitri Mendeleev, who was born near Siberia. I'm just giving you a little stuff about him. Boring. He worked on the capillarity of liquids at Heidelberg. Oh boy. He was a professor at the St. Petersburg Technological Institute. He did a dissertation called On the Combination of Water and Alcohol. So he really knew a whole bunch of stuff about, well, at that point in 1863, there were 56 elements, but they were discovering new ones every year. So he really started working on that and creating a table. Other people tried making them, but he was essentially the guy who really codified what we now know of as the periodic table. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that, and alas, only that in mind, I'm going to try and talk about Dmitri Mendeleev completely ad hoc, completely at random, in a segment that we call Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. Well, okay, so I have nowhere to go, no idea about this, but when I think of elementary school, when I think of going, I should say junior high school and high school. One of the first images, one of the first things that comes to mind, and maybe it is for you too, we get visual. It's like when you remember a Broadway show or an off-Broadway show, one of the first, you don't necessarily first remember a line of dialogue or what an actor was wearing or something, but you get a mise en scène, you get the scene first. You remember the stage and what it looked like and all the design of it. And so if you tell me junior high school, or certainly high school science, right? First thing, it puts you back in that room and you look on one of the walls and there's going to be the periodic table. It's just like, it centers you there. It'd be sort of like saying, if you want to say outdoors elementary school, sandbox. You don't even play in the damn sandbox, right? Or if you were going to say wedding, right? And maybe if you're Jewish, first thing, the podium with the chuppah, with the thing you stand under, and that's the first imagery. So the first imagery is certainly talking about junior high school and high school science. is you go into the classroom, and it wasn't always necessarily the science classroom, because maybe you moved around and the science teacher had to go into different rooms. So there might be a periodic table in the English room, right, where you're taking your English class, or in the home ec room. But there it was, this giant poster thing. And there it was, and you saw those boxes, and there was something always kind of intriguing about it. It always kind of caught my attention in a way, maybe because there was so much information on it in such a very quick way. I'm always intrigued by that, by shrinking a book worth of information onto a chart. And you would have the letters, the 1 or 2 letter symbols for these elements. And I was not a science kid. I was okay in science, not great, not terrible. But it wasn't, chemistry didn't interest me that much. And I was kind of afraid of it. I was thinking, if I put this chemical with this, I'm going to burn my hand to bits. But the idea of that things could work together to turn into other things, and bonds and covalent, I did find that interesting. But as a word guy, I don't know if you did this, but I would stare at the periodic table and start trying to put various elements together into words. So sodium, I try and put it to the one next to it. Let me actually get up a periodic table while we're talking. You know what? I'll even do this. This might be cool, or it might be a complete and utter terrible, ridiculous waste of time. But I'm going to try and do this. Let's see if I can make this happen. I'm going to share my screen. And so now you see this, and I'm going to open this up, well, really big, or as big as I can, right? So that you can all see this a little bigger. And open and make it, there we go. So did you do this, folks? This is kind of annoying. I'm going to pull this over so you don't have to see the thing. All right, don't mind the swirly thing. But I would try and go like, okay, how many of these letters can I put together directly and make a word? Like I find rhodium and see if there was like I-N and then an E and make Rhine. Or there's SN, what is that? How is SN tin? How does that happen? So I'm looking for like SN. So if you put tin together with oxygen and then boron, you're kind of a snob. Get it? This is what I would be doing in class instead of actually paying attention. I would try and go like, let's see, let's find another one. It's not easy to do because most of these are undoable. But if you have, let's say, calcium, and then, see, it's kind of like playing Wordle or Spelling Bee. Maybe calcium and selenium, and you can make a good case for yourself. Pretty cool. By the way, oh, there is a W. So if you can put together chlorine, oxygen, tungsten, and nitrogen, you would be clowning around, So I would sit in class, usually in homeroom. They had it in homeroom, so I didn't have to actually pay attention to what was going on. And I'd just be putting all these letters together and going like, is there, and then being disappointed when I couldn't find a letter or a letter combination that would allow me to do it. And now, of course, we have all these extra ones. See, back in the day, when Tom Lehrer recorded the elements, and there's hydrogen, oxygen, selenium, since then there's been like 25 more of these things added. So you have a bit more selection to play with. For example, I wonder if there's an LA. There is. You have lanthan, never heard of it. Lanthan is pretty new. And you have, dysprosy, or maybe it's dysprosium, or lanthanium, because I think these are shortened somehow. Maybe lanthanium and dysprosium. And you put them together and you know what you get? nice lady. So you see that in your screen? Lady. Huh? Okay, maybe not. Oh, is there an R-E? Oh, please tell me there's a... Yes, there is. Okay. Honest to God. If you put tungsten, homium, and rhenium together, you got yourself a free whore. Huh? Hours of fun that I would do with myself here, because when you're that kind of outsider kid, you have time to do this sort of thing. But that's what the periodic table meant to me. It was kind of, in some ways, it was just fun that way and interesting to me. And you had, of course, the Element song by Tom Lehrer, which co-opted the Gilbert and Sullivan music for that. And it does come into play. I've been working on a play that includes a story about the periodic table in it. And I'm pretty excited about that. And it's a scene that happens to one of the characters and tells about what she was doing in class involving the periodic table. So it is a little interesting and timely that I was just working on this a few weeks ago now, and it comes back into my life in the strangest of ways. I don't have anything else to add about Dmitri Ivanovich Mendeleev. I just don't. Or about the periodic table, except I've always wanted to be the science teacher. I have fantasies about this, of being the guy who goes into a classroom and usually I don't fantasize as children, but older kids would know this already. But it's my fantasy, it's my life. I can imagine that they're like college kids. And I go in and I say, okay, science teacher, chemistry teacher, I'm going to teach you about chemical reactions. Ooh, and the way elements and things work together. And I'm going to do for you a chemical reaction. And everybody's going, ooh, and they're all excited. And then I take a cup of coffee and I pour milk in it. Behold! And everybody thinks I'm an incredible genius and they bow down to me. Wow. I told you my fantasy. But I do have that recurring thing of going in there and like showing off and saying, yeah, chemical reaction. Ooh. And then of course the point is also that chemical reaction, it's not just a classroom thing that has no application in real life. Every time you put milk in coffee with a little sugar, that's a chemical reaction.
I think it's alchemy and you're a witch.
Oh, am I a witch or a warlock?
You're a warhorse.
Yeah, at this point, I'm doing this show. I guess I am a warhorse. I wish. That's more like hung like a warhorse. But, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That was Dave's Big Dick Shinari here on this July 30th episode of Dave's Gone By. I mentioned the play of mine. I think it's up there. You can actually read it. And you can read a bunch of other plays I've written. And they're all at the website davelefkowitz.org. Dave, Lefkowitz, davelefkowitz.org. So if you want to read my funny one-act plays, my funny and serious full-length plays, if you want to read the songs that I've written, a couple of hundred songs with lyrics, if you want to read hundreds of theater reviews that I have written over the years, I was covering Broadway and off-Broadway from the late 80s on. And some of these, if you're looking for reviews of these plays and musicals, especially off Broadway, you may have a New York Times review up there if you Google, and not much else. Even at the dailies, you'd have to go back to microfilm to find what the New York Post wrote. Or there's this everybody has to own everything now. Kind of like if you want a photograph, you have to go through the Getty people to get it. Now, if you want a page of a newspaper, there's some outfit that apparently owns all the old newspapers now. So you can see like a very far away, distant photo of a page that you'd want from the Daily News of 1979. But if you really want it, now you have to join and pay and go through the paywall. I'm not going to. But anyway, I kind of like the idea that if you might be looking for some show that played at the Vineyard Theater in 1991, or ran at Theater for the New City, or even a more major off-Broadway venue. And you can find the Times review of it, and nothing else, and then suddenly it's like, oh wait, it's on Dave's website. He reviewed it. DaveLefkowitz.org. Please do check it out. I think you'll have a great time surfing around there. There's about 1,200 pieces of information, and as time allows, I've tried to add more and more over the past couple of years. Don't forget to also check davesgoneby.com, the website for the archives of this show. See that at some point I'll merge the websites so that all the writing and the audio and the video are in one place. That'll come at some point. But for now, if you want archives of this program, go to davesgoneby.com. Our interviews, our skits, our reviews, all of it. davesgoneby.com. Also, check us out on archive.org, our channel there, and castbox.fm for audio only. 9:30 in the evening on Channel 20 for a 1-hour random excerpt of Dave's Gone By. That's on Altice Cable in Nassau County. We also have a YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. We're missing some shows from there. They've been muted or blocked because we have copyrighted songs on them and content. In the past year or two, that hasn't been an issue at all. So you can find our most recent content, certainly, on YouTube. And don't forget that Facebook automatically saves the episodes that we do. So as soon as our show's over, if you missed it, if you missed part of it...
Is that forever, or do they take it down?
I don't know, but the problem with Facebook is that if you want to find a show from 3 years ago, you have to kind of scroll and scroll and scroll. I don't know if they have a search function where you can just kind of call it up. But why would you? Just go to davesgoneby.com or archive.org and watch it there. Oh, yeah. I'm looking. I'm looking.
Like your library shirt? I can't see the logo.
Yeah. So look at that. See, what does it say? Something about learning. I can't really. Can you read that? I can't.
I can't.
No.
Let's see.
No.
Imagine your story. Oh, that's pretty.
That's what I think. Imagine the story about Mendeleev. I told stories about our going to Maryland this past week.
A lot of stories about Buster Keaton.
Right. That's what we do on Dave's Gone By. And remember when I said, how the hell am I going to fill 3 hours today? Because we didn't have any amazing, funny anecdotes from Maryland. Somehow, we are 3.5 hours into the show.
Was Vicki doing a fundraiser? Or she set up
she's doing, I think, for a parish
nice.
of late night catechism. But that's not what she's doing at the greenhouse. They're going to the suburbs. That's why she can't find a stage manager.
Oh, okay.
So I'm surprised she doesn't go on LinkedIn or Craigslist and try to find somebody there who will
There's
help.
also one for the theater people. Maybe but it's probably harder to.
Even backstage or Playbill would post.
Oh, she didn't say her kids did it in the 90s. Chris. She said rave kids did that in the 90s. They carried bottles. And remember you said, like, if I went around carrying a bottle with Kool-Aid or something, she said rave kids did it.
That's the other thing I wanted, you used to, or if you didn't make fun of me, you should have, and you used to.
What?
Of my saying, I wish I could drink from a sippy cup.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't a sippy, the idea of like a little kid's sippy cup.
Everybody does. They're water bottles.
Yeah, but when they banned the straws and tried to eliminate plastic, all these places, Starbucks, coffee places, drink places, they're replacing them with grown-up sippy cups.
That's true.
The raised thing with a little hole nipple in the thing.
Yes, you're actually right.
The more things change, see, now, and as I get older, at some point I'm going to need diapers, just like a child. What else does a child, what do they get? The children use.
Children need your full attention constantly and to be the center of attention.
That's been me forever.
Children
right?
like to have toys, like small potatoes wearing hats and stuff.
Well, wait a minute. What is a child? A child usually has like this pulley toy, like the dog that's in segments and pulls. You pull a little fire engine or a wagon around. Mm-hmm. At some point, there's going to be a reason why grown-ups will be doing that. I don't know. Maybe at some point you would be able to pull your entire hard drive.
Your oxygen tank.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Or my colostomy. It would be good at some point if they figured out scientifically how to combine an oxygen tank and a colostomy bag together.
Oh, I don't think so.
We just have to put your mouth on the right hole.
That's bad.
Yeah, it would be bad.
That's disastrous, David.
Oh, my God.
Very bad outcomes.
So you're feeling a little better, babe? You look a little better.
I'm just, it's the vertigo. I'm afraid of getting, like, when I got up too fast at night, and when it triggered that, I was like, uh-oh.
So are anything going on with you this week? Anything exciting? Anything fun to talk about?
Not a blessed thing.
All right. I'll be working this week. Nothing.
Well, we want to hope that our friend Clarence gets better.
Oh, I want to say, yeah. They've never, for various reasons, they've never been on the show. I've wanted them to be. But we have close friends, Natalie and Clarence. And, you know, they're great people. They're out on Long Island. They've you know, like every family, they've had stuff to deal with. And this week...
Just say he got hurt. Don't go into details.
Okay. Why can't even mention the detail?
No.
All right. Well, let's just say the poor guy broke something else. Yeah. And here's the amazing thing. This is the way America... all right. Well, I wish him well. I hope they get better. Oh, he gets better. And gets better quickly and gets better fully and gets well soon. You know, because you know, they have had more than their share of unfortunate things, and they don't deserve it. No. You know, bad things, quote unquote, happen to good people. No, thank God he wasn't killed. It wasn't anything like that.
No, he could have died.
Yeah, I'm saying, thank goodness he wasn't killed. He wasn't, but he's hurt, and he's going to have surgery. So, unfortunate, but.
My friend Natalie, I love dearly. Natalie's my friend from grad school.
Yeah, they don't know this.
And I don't want anyone to have bad things happen, but especially somebody who's so good.
So that's the thing. So we absolutely wish, as Rabbi Saul Solomon would say, and he wasn't on the show today. So we're going to send a shout out to Rabbi Saul. But Rabbi Saul, he's having his foreskin checked today. You know, periodically he goes to make sure it hasn't grown back, that the snip was done correctly, that there's no little microscopic smegma growing. He checks. So he may be on our next episode, but he's not on today. And so a shout out to Rabbi Saul, a shout out to our friend Clarence for what Rabbi Saul would call a refuah shlema. Shout out to my mom, who will be going for surgery in a couple of weeks. That'll be fun. Oh, let's all stay. Huh?
Is that definite?
So far.
She has a date?
Yes, so far. It's been sort of confirmed so far. So it's going to happen. And shout out to your folks, and shout out to everyone who wishes the show well and wishes good things for the Daverhood. So a final reminder, drop me an email, davesgoneby@aol.com. Check my website for my writing, davelefkowitz.org, for my shows, davesgoneby.com. For Rabbi Saul's stuff, go to shalomdammit.com. For David Sheward, read his reviews at theaterlife.com and culturaldaily.com. He also writes news items about the theater for those places. And don't forget to also check his blog, The David Desk. Watch Leslie Hoban Blake on Two on the Aisle on Manhattan Neighborhood Network and also their YouTube channel, and see Vicki Quade in her shows at the Greenhouse. Well, once again, I'm going to say, since things are a little in flux over the summer, as they tend to be in the Daverhood. I remember I was doing this show for college radio, and I have to take a couple of weeks off because the station was closed, because the kids all went home. And I ended up doing shows to the end of June, and then I have to cool my heels until August, or do an online show from home, because there was no station. So summer is always sort of malleable. Will we be here next Saturday in August with another episode of Dave's Gone By, August 6th? We don't know. Check the website. Check the Facebook page. I might. Or we might take a week or two off, just seeing how things are going. We'll let you know. But either way, we will be back very soon with the 861st episode of Dave's Gone By, complete with potatoes. Until then, don't miss your Dave's going by. Anything to add, my darling?
Have a wonderful week, or what a good weekend and rest of the week.
stay cool, stay healthy, stay cool, and gone bye.
Days gone by, they're gone by. Days gone by, they're gone by. Days gone by, they're gone by.